The following program is hosted by immature, irreverent, obnoxious, and often disgusting young men. Listener discretion is advised.
This time on Nude Clan, when I'm in charge, every mission is a suicide mission.
Shall we play a game?
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Nude Clan, the video game podcast that does do a video game review this day. I am Caleb Schweiss.
Caleb Craig.
And Cameron.
And today, these two gentlemen are going to be talking Mass Effect.
Ass Effect.
Yeah, so Caleb finally finished the first Mass Effect. A cool 1 week late. It's not too bad.
So I'm sitting in this in a different position than I normally do. It's usually Craig who beats the game weeks before the review, but this time it's me.
It's true.
This time it's me who must recall.
Yeah.
It feels good, doesn't it?
No.
No.
I like beating games the day before the review.
Yeah, it gives you a little more insight, I guess. A little closer to the top of your mind. So we're going to be doing that today. We have results from the last poll that we're going to discuss. We have the last week of Hog League as well at the end of this episode. So we'll have Season 1 winners, and then we'll take a few weeks off, recuperate, refresh, and then we'll have the draft. We'll have to make a Twitter convo for that or a Facebook conversation, whichever one is easier, so we can start drafting out and picking teams, picking players for teams for Season 2 of the Hog League. So yeah, cool stuff coming up today. But first, as always, what have you guys been playing this week?
Fucking Mass Effect.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's it, really?
That's it.
Wow, Craig, what's going on?
Moving, unpacking, that kind of thing. Babysitting my nephew, and then Mass Effect.
All right.
Yeah.
What about you, Cameron?
This week, I'm trying to think. I didn't really play many games this week, if any. Let me think. I had a busy week. A lot of stuff I had to go do, and then family was over. I think I really pretty much only played Overwatch, and that was just last night.
Damn.
Well, you've been playing with that new character?
I've tried them out.
How is he? Does it weird you out that he has bare feet and
No.
a bunch of armor on?
So
That's weird to me.
one of his skins actually has shoes on, so you can always just wear that one. But that's just one of his skins.
Only one?
Yeah, and there's supposed to be something about his bare feet that, but he doesn't actually ever walk, so he just floats.
All right.
And he floats super slow.
I feel like they gave him a weird backstory so they could have a foot fetish character.
They have to be all inclusive with the Overwatch.
But apparently
Yeah.
so Sigma is apparently the hardest character to learn in Overwatch. But if you're really good at him, then you can pretty much push forward, because he could do as much damage as a DPS, and very bursty, quick damage, but he's very slow, and he doesn't do good if people are fighting right up in his face, because his main fire only goes 20 meters and then it'll explode. But if it hits something before it hits that 20 meters, that's not an enemy, then it'll bounce and then still go the full 20 meters and then explode. And so anything that's outside of his optimal range, if it's further than 20 meters, he's not going to hit it. And that's like anything.
How much damage does it do if it bounces
So,
off stuff?
it'll still do the full damage if it hits someone.
Oh, okay, that's fine then.
And so the one burst, he'll shoot 2 of his projectiles, and one of those bursts will do, I think it's like 80 damage. And is it 80 damage? Or 120 damage?
For both or
Yeah.
for one?
So basically what his move is, he has another ability that's an accretion disc that he can launch, and I think that one's the one that does 80 damage. And if it hits you with it, it'll do the full damage, of course, and then it'll do a knockdown stun. And then if it's any 150 health character that he's attacking, he can knock him down and shoot him once with his main, and then they're dead.
That's nice.
And then he has a shield that he can push out and then recall whenever, but you have to hold down the shield button to push it out as far as you want it to go, and then you have to let go, and then it'll stop moving the shield, and then you can recall it whenever you want. And the shield will only recharge when you've recalled it. He has another ability to where he can absorb any incoming damage that's not a beam weapon, and then add it as overshield. And then his ult, he will fly up in the air, and then anyone who's caught in his ult radius, the ult radius looks a lot like Doom Fists. He'll go up in the air, he'll pull people up into the air for a second, and then he'll slam them down to do half of their health and damage.
It's always half?
Always half.
Half of their total?
half
or?
of maximum?
Half of maximum.
Okay.
And
That
so,
could be pretty good.
Yeah, that's good.
And so when you pull people up, they're caught in the air for a second, but you're already up there flying with them. And so that's a great way to pick off people who are stuck in the air. Certain characters can get out of it, like Reaper with his fade, he can get out of it. Moira can, I'm pretty sure she can just flash out of it. Orisa can do her one move and then she won't be picked up.
Yeah, okay.
And she won't go get into it. And then Mei can always ice block when that happens. But everyone else
Nice move.
is pulled up and slammed down. So, but more exciting than adding this new tank is now they're adding a 2-2-2 roll lock for competitive play. So, when you go play competitive, you have to choose what you want to play. You want to play support, you want to play tank, you want to play DPS.
Right.
But even in addition to that they've added to the game is now your overall rank is not affected by how you do in other categories. Each of it has its own separate competitive rank. So your competitive rank as a tank is you. So you could be a platinum or more DPS, and then I'm going to try out tank today, and that won't ruin your overall rank in your
That's
DPS
pretty cool.
category. And so,
I dig
also,
that.
if you want to learn how to play competitive in a different role, and you go to pick that other role, you're not going to be playing against other players in Platinum, what your DPS rank is. You're going to be playing against people who are your true rank in that role.
It's pretty cool.
And so 3 separate roles you can now queue into. A lot of people are super excited about it, and they feel like this is finally the real Overwatch that should have been, is kind of the sentiment they get thrown around. It's still pretty new, but it's just now you have actual team builds that are not always revolving around one meta or one GOATS comp.
Right.
And so now you can actually have revolving picks based off of what the other team is doing. So almost like a rock, paper, scissors, but with more skill involved, where certain people are really good against certain compositions, but of course you have to be good enough to pull it through. So yeah.
Yeah. Huh.
Nice. I should play more of that.
Yeah, you know what? You probably should, because that'd be really fun to have an actual team who's willing to learn how to play the game competitively.
Yeah. Probably won't, but I should.
Got to polish off my Reinhardt.
Reinhardt
I'm going to
did
do
get
that after
recently.
the show.
Yeah, you will.
Reinhardt recently did get a buff to where
I'm going to use my Hanzo to polish off my Reinhardt.
beforehand, as far as tanks were concerned, Orisa and Roadhog were the pick, because Orisa was just really good with her throwing it under her shield to make a bunker, and then synergizing really well with Roadhog with her halts. She would pull people out, and then Roadhog would hook the halt to grab anyone who got grabbed by that halt. So it was like a free hook for him. And so that was strong. And then Reinhardt, not as much, because there's a lot of stuff that you could use to push Reinhardt out and his shield out of the way.
Right.
Wrecking Ball was a strong counter to him because he would just be able to knock him right out of the way. Lucio could push him out of the way. Farah could boop him out of the way. So his buff was actually to his passive, which they're calling Steadfast, where boops do 30% less to him. So he's, effectively, when you go to knock him out of the way, he's really knocked out of the way very far.
Nice.
And so trying to do a terrain kill on him, like Lucio trying to shoot you off the side, it won't happen as much anymore as Reinhardt.
Excellent.
But see, the reason why people are excited about this is that it makes it easier to pick a team that can counter the other team pretty well. So you can't just one trick as well anymore.
I just need them to make it so that his fireball move insta kills people.
So Squishy, you can hit someone.
I needed to at least kill Tracer
3 times. So Tracer, of course, is going to be hard.
If he could kill people with one less hammer attack, that'd be great.
So the combo with Ryan is you smack someone, and as you smack him to the side, you flick to him and do your fire strike, and then hammer him again, and that'll kill him. So 3 quick moves. Boom, boom, boom.
That's usually what I try to do.
You gotta get that.
Unless I have like a
trick
shitload
shot
of
down.
people on me, but yeah.
But then of course Sigma is now technically the highest skill cap character in the game now. He's hard to use, and you can counter him by going dive comp, I feel, because he doesn't like people being super close to him.
I feel like Doomfist's still hard to play.
Yeah, Doomfist is still hard. He has his uses.
I hate
But right now I think Mei is super strong as far as DPS picks go. And Reaper is, of course, terrifying on certain maps. His health generation's so strong. But yeah, it'd be fun to have a team who's willing to go into like the science of competitive and then learn how to use certain comps and work together, because that way you could rise all the way up to diamond rank with a team who's willing to do that.
So just Overwatch for you then?
Yeah, pretty much.
Nice.
Do you think I'd be willing to do that though, long term?
Yeah, if you got into it like you did League of Legends.
Yeah, you did it for League of Legends.
Yeah, but I mean,
Just tap into that.
am I going to run into the same problem?
Just tap into that hunger of
problem?
wanting to play competitively and do really well, and then I feel that Overwatch could fill that hole.
Where I'm surrounded by fucking retards.
Yeah,
Well, the games are fucking like
yeah. See, you already got half the
Craig
attitude.
and a Joe.
You already got
Craig and a Joe and my threes team, and I'm like, what the fuck? And it's all just hate. It's just vile hatred spewed.
Joe didn't play competitive with us.
You are already there. You already have
Did.
the attitude.
And I couldn't tell who was worse.
Last night we were playing with a group that we were rolling people so hard, but he kept complaining about our Sombra. He's like, dude, our Sombra is like actual trash, and then he just repeat that over and over.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's dumb.
But see, now if we have a full team of normal people, it'd be
Normal.
really good.
All right. So just Overwatch?
Yep.
All right. So I had a really busy gaming week this week. I started out the week. So I had Sunday off, and Sunday was Final Fantasy Explorers Day. It is a not Dragon Quest, they're all kind of Dragon Quest ripoffs, right? But it was it's a ripoff of Monster Hunter, right? So you go out in the world,
Is
you
it,
fight
though?
monsters.
Because
Yeah,
what I played of it, it just felt more like
What game
an
again?
MMO.
it's Final Fantasy Explorers.
Oh, okay.
You craft weapons, you craft all this stuff, you have to collect all of these materials, and you slowly gain enough to like make new weapons, make new equipment. And there's no level gap, like, oh, you can't use the sword till you're level 7 or anything like that. Like, you just build it. So if you get the equipment or if you get the raw materials, you can build whatever weapon you want. Tons of quests, almost no story. Played that on Sunday for a long time. That was the big thing Sunday. And then I played Uncharted, Drake's Fortune as well.
Where are you at in that now? What
Done.
chapter?
I'm done.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I beat it on I beat it on fucking crushing, which was very difficult at times.
I kind of want to talk to you about it, but I can't because Cam's here.
Yeah.
Why not?
Because there's a thing that happens. It's kind of a spoiler, and I don't want to tell you what it is.
We'll talk on the review. It's only 2 weeks away.
Yeah.
So I played.
You finished the game, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm done.
Okay. Good.
I played that, and then I played a ton of Resident Evil Outbreak. Great Resident Evil game. Love it. I think my save file is actually not the true save file because I had my big memory card, and I'm pretty sure I loaned that to Joe a while back. And I wonder how much more I've actually played of that game according to that memory card, because I backed everything up onto the big one because I got one of those 64.
The double-sided one?
No, it's 8. It's 8 times memory card. It's for a PS2. It's like it's 64 meg instead of 8.
Yeah. Okay.
And I put everything on there, and I started using that one as my main one, but I only have my old one, so I don't know how much more data is on the other one, but I played it for like almost 70 hours total now. It's been pretty extensive. And I also downloaded the PC version. Played that online multiple times this week, so it's been a lot of Resident Evil Outbreak for me, in addition to those other games. And I almost played Ace Combat 5. I picked it up, and I was going to put it in, but I started reading a book instead. Sadly. I'll have to play that at some point. But that's all I played this week, I'm pretty sure. So we know what everyone has been playing for this week, but the real question, the only question, anybody beat a game this week?
Mass Effect.
All right. Mass Effect for the Craig. Did it affect your mass?
No, not really.
It's about the same.
Yeah.
All right, Cameron, anything for you?
No.
Okay. I finished 3 games. So I finished Final Fantasy Explorers.
Look at you.
I finished Drake's Fortune.
Have you started the second one at all?
No.
How many discs are on that thing?
Just one.
Okay.
I think. I'm pretty sure. And then I also beat Resident Evil Outbreak. I finished all 5 scenarios between this week and last week, from beginning to end. That last one is fucking long. And did you ever even play Outbreak, Craig?
No, I haven't played it. I've only watched you play it.
Oh, man. How have you not played it, Craig? What the...
I've never had it twice. I never even heard of the game until you were like, dude, I love this fucking game.
Caleb, it's great. Last level's really long, though, and there's something that you can do because you have like an infection rate the whole time, and it slowly climbs. And I played the last level with a guy whose infection rate is faster than everyone else's, but he also runs faster. And he has a nice, pretty sizable gun, which is good. You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying.
And so I played it with him, and I got almost to the end, and there's a spot where you can take a medicine that eliminates your infection rate. It makes it 0. It purges the infection from your body.
Oh, nice.
And I think I was at 98% infection, so I almost
that
failed.
would be the time to use it.
Yeah, and I was an hour and 30 minutes into that level too, so I almost died. But I finished it. I beat the game once again. 3rd character that I've gotten to the end credits with in that game. It's weird though because you can
different
choose
endings.
Yeah, slightly. There's slight variations to the endings. Outbreak File 2 does more with that. But according to my save data, I never actually beat File 2, which is the reason why I'm I'm pretty sure I did. And I'm pretty sure that other memory card has all my actual data for these games on it because I know I got to the end of File 2 because I know the cutscene at the end. It's pretty similar to File 1's, honestly. It's a big, huge area, and you, escape it. But, the helicopter you're supposed to get in gets, shot down. And it's, more disastrous. And it has, it features all of the characters in the cutscene instead of just whoever you're playing as. But, of course, in File 1, I almost never make it to the end with other people, so it's always me anyway. Solo, because everyone else died like an idiot. But, yeah, I beat those 3 games. Super pumped. I was gonna throw in. I got distracted with some reading I wanted to do, or else I would have probably finished Ace Combat 5 as well this week, because I was like, let's fucking do it. I finished Explorers. I was like halfway done, or a third of the way done with Drake's Fortune, and I was like, I could beat Outbreak 2. Let's make this a 3-game week. And I almost made it a 4-game. I almost pulled the trigger, but I resisted.
What were you reading?
It's a book called Ordinary Men. And it's about can't really plug it because I don't think it's on Audible. I don't know. It might be. I didn't actually look. It's about a police battalion, or like a police reserve group in Germany who was basically transformed into like a death squad for the Nazis. And it like discusses the idea that these people were middle-aged when the Nazi regime came in, so they weren't like indoctrinated from the beginning. And it kind of shows the process of them becoming these monsters almost.
Right.
It's fucking crazy. Because they go from just like a reserve police battalion to like shooting people in the streets. Like they go through and they pull all of the Jews out of a certain village and they just kill them. They just execute them. And it's like chronicling the way that comes to pass. Because it's not like someone who was born in that and they're just crazy because that's what they've been told their whole lives and that's what they believe. It's like the adoption of that. It's fucking nuts. But mostly I slept, honestly, yesterday, and so like I didn't play anything anyway. But the Nude Hog for the hosts is as follows. Caleb Craig, first place, 33 games beaten. I am in second with 24. Single-digit difference, right? Cameron, third with 10. Not a single-digit difference quite yet.
Yeah, you gotta get like 3 more.
Yeah.
I feel like I have to be fucking up doing the rotation, and Cameron's just silent as the grave about it. He's just like not saying a word. It's just like I'd get away with murder here. But that's where we are. Guys, Caleb and I, our next game will be 50 Cent, Blood in the Sand.
Oh, man.
It was overdue. We needed a rapper game to win.
Damn.
And this is the one.
A rapper game? Is there more than just like the 50 Cent games?
Parappa the Rapper. We could do that. Do some Parappa
I guess,
games.
but that's like a fucking rhythm game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes a little more sense.
Yeah. It's honestly it's a more
honestly,
sensible approach.
It makes a kind of sense, yeah.
50 cents just feels like a knockoff GTA.
Well, I don't even know. Like, I think it's supposed to be like semi-open world.
It's like
shooter.
It's kind of an arcade third-person shooter almost is what I would say. So it's like semi-open world, but it's like open map. It's more like Red Dead Redemption 1 from what I remember, or Red Dead Revolver from what I remember. So it's like kind of an open map. You can go to certain spots on the map, but then you like go to a map, and that's the map that you fight in. Like you fight in the nightclub. Like you can go around the nightclub, but you have to go to a certain spot to get to the nightclub, and so you have like a quasi-open map where you go to certain areas on the main map, and then that brings you to other areas. It's not super open where it's like Grand Theft Auto where you hop in a fucking car and you drive for 10 minutes to get to the map. It just sends you there. And that was the first game. That's the only one I played. I just remember the security guys that shot me down at one point, and the guy was just like, "The G is down." When I died, the game over screen, and I was like, just turned it off. Like, we're done here. Like, this is fucking stupid.
Wait, what game was that?
That was Bulletproof. That was the first one.
Oh, you fucking tried playing that?
Yeah, I tried playing it. Yeah. Fuck yeah.
And you wanted to play the sequel?
I didn't want to play the sequel. The sequel was nominated.
You nominated the sequel before.
No, I nominated Bulletproof.
Oh, right.
I wanted to play it in order.
God.
I knew that the masses would demand.
There can't be a consistent order. Are you kidding me?
You don't know. 50 Cent could be a master storyteller.
I highly doubt that.
He's made his lyrics come to life in his games. I mean, there's other rappers. I remember Eminem was in a car in the first one.
I don't think
That's all I remember.
that he raps about killing terrorists for stealing something from his game.
He should.
Because that's the plot.
'Cause that's
of
a great-
Blood on the Sand.
That's a great song. in the making. I don't know. I don't know. I'm excited though, Craig. We ordered it today, so it's coming.
Just one. Are we gonna do a co-op here? Then is that what you want to do?
That's what we should do.
All right. So I guess we'll be streaming that eventually, probably next week.
Yeah, maybe next week. I don't know. Well, I have to get my streaming stuff up, but we'll let you guys know.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
But that is where we are for the hog.
I don't want to play that.
Yeah, I bet you do. You're fine.
No. Especially with it co-op. That'd be great.
Yeah, it's a great
I
experience.
mean, that's the only way I want to play it. I don't want to be playing that by myself.
Craig, you know what you need to do?
What?
You need to get on to howlongtobeat.com, and I want you to add your backlog. And I want you to add me as a friend. And I want to see it.
What, you think I'm going to make our friendship public?
I think you still show up as my daughter on Facebook.
Oh, yeah.
My son. Or no, that's Cody. Cody's my daughter.
Yeah. Yeah, you're still labeled as my father on there.
I'm gonna go to my about page to check. But no, really though, Cameron, you should too. I want to see what Cameron has in the backlog.
Okay.
Yours is pretty small though, right?
Well, I mean, I do have a few games I haven't played that I own, so...
Did you buy though?
Yeah.
It's not like Plus games.
Well, including Plus games. I still own them.
Kind of. You have a license to them. That's where it gets kind of tricky.
Oh man, we got that Sniper Elite 4 now. We should play that.
What's I don't see how a large backlog is a bragging point.
Oh, it's not.
It's not. I just like to look at. It's another form of a list, right?
Schweiss loves lists of
but
every
this
kind.
list is a list that lists many things worthy of a list. So you have the titles that you've completed. There's a list of completed games, and then you have your list of games that aren't completed. Your completion percentage, how many hours you would have to spend on average to complete all of the games on the list.
So is a larger backlog more impressive, or is a larger completed?
Completed, I would say.
Okay.
But I don't have all of my completed games because I don't know all of my completion times. I haven't put them all in. I mostly use it as like I have this new game that I bought. When I bought Battlefield 5, I threw it on there. And now I've got like 6 more hours of time to play the game. But I want to also start using the site for some of those rarer, not as often played games that we play, so that when we finish it, the How Long to Beat site becomes stronger, right? It's a communal effort. It's everyone who's played and beat this game. If you put your time in, you have a good roundabout idea of how long the game is. And the more people that do that, the more accurate statistically it should be. That's what I obsess over. I obsess over the fact that like there's only one other person that's ever put the 300 Path to Glory game on there, and it's me and that person, and we dictate how long that game is. Like, that's it, and I fucking love that.
Have you not played it?
No, I have. I finished it a couple years ago.
Yeah,
Did you
remember
put
that's
in
one of the
your time?
PSP
I
games.
put my time
that he
in,
played.
yeah.
What was the time?
It was like 6 hours or something stupid.
How much did he put in?
I think it was about the same. It was honestly, it was an odd consensus, but
Yeah.
but for other titles like Resident Evil Outbreak File 2, there's only like 7 people that have put it in.
Right.
Stuff like that, and I just love the idea of like plugging my times in.
Oh
And
man,
Steam makes
I'm
it
gonna
so
take
easy.
so long to beat this game to pump this time up.
Yeah.
Oh, the
No
power.
one's gonna want to play this game.
Well, there's like certain sections you can choose to, like if you were doing the 100% completion run.
Are
or
you
whatever.
logging yourself as a completionist?
It depends on whether or not I did completionist. If I just did base game, so there's one for base game,
Yeah, I know.
base game plus plus extras, which is mostly what I do.
Yeah, that's
and
pretty
then-
much how I play games.
100% completion. So like with Uncharted Drake's Fortune, I did base game plus collectibles because I got, or plus extras because I got all of the collectibles in the
you
When
can
game.
get
you,
DLCs on there too.
When you get the trophy for it, is that completionist?
When you get 100, yeah, I would say so. Although some people,
Are trophies reflective of 100%ing a game?
100%ing, it depends on the game. Like, some of them will be like B max level, have every item, have every fucking like quest done.
yeah, that's where it's a gray area, because if you technically 100% Final Fantasy 15,
I would say it's a go by game.
if I platinum a game, I count it as 100%. That's not always true though, because with FF15, there's plenty of optional dungeons that you
like
don't
with
have
Pokemon,
to do.
if you have if you have the Pokédex completed, you fucking beat the game. You have like that 100%ed. There's nothing more to do. So
Yeah, but then you could say like, well, I don't have every shiny. So then it's up to you to decide is what's 100%. Is it all of the trophies in a game, which I would say is 100%.
Twice getting every shiny would be impossible without cheating.
Yeah, but like for Resident Evil Outbreak, you have to play every level on easy, normal, hard, and very hard.
Think of the Reddit karma you'd get for having every shiny, not cheating.
Yeah.
Dude, that would be disgusting.
If you started as a child,
the sheer amount of time you would have to, and like some of those you can't even get, because like you can't, like it would just be like impossible to get normally.
think of the time you've wasted as a child. You could have been collecting shinies.
The legend, dude. I haven't. The first time I encountered a shiny that wasn't the red Gyarados in Gen 2 was in Emerald, I believe. And I think it was a... What was it? Fuck. I can't even remember. I think it might have been a Zubat. It's fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, that's so it's a site that I want to see some,
Or a Shroomish.
I want to see some
There's
users
something.
on.
Yeah.
I want to see you guys there. And I want to see your times.
I'll think about it.
I want to see that backlog, Greg.
Oh, you've seen the backlog.
I want you to conquer it.
There's a fucking post on our website that tells you, well, most of it, because it's been roughly updated.
When did you update it last?
I haven't. I just added games to my collection that haven't been added on there.
So have you beaten any of the ones that you had?
Yeah, some of them.
Well, there you go. You got to go on there and you got to add your times. Show off your big schlong of games beaten. And you can even break it down to how many hours I have left per console. So if you say I want to play some PS2 games, you can look and say, okay, I have 400 hours of PS2.
That's disgusting.
It's so much power in the palm of your hands. It's howlongtobeat.com.
They should have an app.
They kind of do. It only tells you the times though, and then when you want to submit it, it takes you to the website.
Yeah.
Which is really unfortunate.
They should have a full app. That would be amazing. I would have it.
You guys know what the longest How Long to Beat game is, though, that I've added?
What?
Conan Exiles.
Well, yeah, that thing is
88.
It's 200 hours.
It's 100%, yeah, it's a couple hundred, but it's 88 hours to complete. That's what the How Long to Beat is.
Is it?
Yeah.
Did you actually beat it?
No, I put it on there as backlog because I'm gonna beat it.
So 88 hours
happen.
to 100% complete it. Remember, it took me 95 hours to beat Persona 5.
No, it's 88 hours to just beat it.
Right. It took
Yeah.
me 95 hours to just beat Persona 5.
Yeah.
The average is 105 hours.
You should play Persona 5.
I can't. I don't have time for that.
And just thinking about
play it.
completing that game, the game is
Imagine
frustratingly
getting
long
Cam.
because of... There's a reason why I fucking hated those
Every-
conversations that would repeat over and over again.
Every freaking
Unnecessarily long.
relationship maxed out.
Mhm.
Every persona, every weapon,
Fuck it.
and equipment item. You'd have to get everything. 100% that game. Imagine the time. Because it took you 95 hours with kind of cheating.
Kind of cheating.
Yeah, the Reaper kill.
It's not cheating.
It's kind of cheating.
No, it's not cheating.
It's kind of cheating.
Every game you grind in.
I know, but that killing him in that way is cheating.
Completion
They
says
put him in the game for
171 hours.
What?
171 for completionist.
They put him in the game just for that.
No, that's not why they put him in there. He's supposed to be a challenge. He's kind of like a super boss. And we just like fucked him in the best way possible. Because you can only do it on like 2 specific days.
No, fake news.
It's cheaping, as Joe would put it. But that's exactly what that was.
No, I disagree.
No, that's what that was.
It might have taken me the 105 hours to beat it if I didn't do that.
Probably.
And remember, I took 2 days off of work that final week.
I know. I'm glad that I showed you that.
And
that
I played for 4 fucking days in a row. Wake up to go to sleep to beat that game.
Oh man, what was my time? I think it was like 88 hours and 40 minutes or something like that. It was disgusting.
I was ill afterwards. Like there was something wrong. I was sick.
Well, you were drinking like monsters like crazy when you were playing that game.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a great site, and everyone should use it. It's a great resource to track your backlog, to track how much you have
check
left.
it like all the time.
We use it all the time. We refer to it constantly. And it only gets stronger when you guys use it. So howlongtobeat.com, log your hog there. The 2 things I do when I beat a game. I go to How Long to Beat, I throw in the time, and I go to hoggape.herokuapp.com and I throw in the hog. And that's it. That's how I get my points. How I reaffirm my dominance. And I move on with my day as a dominant male, as an alpha. So that's how you go alpha, bro. All you betas, listen up. You can go alpha if you just go howlongtobeat.com and hoggape.herokuapp.com. So there you go. Craig, do we have a question?
We do have a single question. Do you really want to answer it, though, since it's a review episode?
No, I guess we don't have to. Fuck it. Let's save it. But give us some questions, though. Hashtag NudeClanQ on Twitter, or you can go to our website, nudeclan.net, click on the forums, throw a question down there, and we'll get to you. Or use our Discord channel. Going to do a tweet. I'll tweet out a permanent Discord invite code to the channel and pin that as our pinned tweet so you guys can join the Discord. There's a lot of good stuff that goes on in there occasionally. Sometimes it's pretty dead, but we're trying to build the Discord up as like the place for everyone, because PlayStation chat is great, but not everyone has PlayStation, so let's use the Discord as well. It's a good place for keeping
I've been
up
on
with
there
people.
too, a little more recently, so
Yeah, everyone's on there except for Greg.
I'm on there sometimes.
Yeah.
I just forgot that people were using it as like a chat room, so I don't ever really check it.
Yeah. That's why we got it. So
What am I looking at that for?
adding the Nude Clan.
I don't remember what the email is,
Anyways,
even though I made it.
yeah, you did. Cool. So
All right,
let's talk
Mass Effect
Mass Effect. Rated M.
for mature. BioWare, Microsoft Game Studios.
Not since Star Wars has there been a universe so full of wonder and awe.
We face extinction. A rogue soldier leads an unstoppable force across the galaxy. And only you stand in his way.
Is that the Allstate guy?
Don't you understand? You've lost. Everyone you know and love. Everyone, you will all die. Let's finish this.
What is your humanity
Join
worth?
us. Is submission not preferable to extinction?
a troop ship, and is bleeding gas all over the bomb site.
Can you hold them off?
There's too many! I don't think we can hold them! I'm activating the nuke!
I'm sorry, Ash. I had to make a choice.
I understand.
Annihilation is one decision away. Mass Effect.
Did Ashley activate the nuke in your game?
Yeah.
Is that for nubs?
For me, it was Caden who set the nuke on a timer to count down.
You can choose who goes where on the mission, and then you can save who, like either one.
Right. For me, Caden was on the nuke, and Ashley was running interference. Got left behind because the nuke was more important. I mean, Saren went there, of course, so that's where I needed to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about Mass Effect.
So Mass Effect is a action RPG.
Whoa. Come on, that first one's not an RPG. That's a shooter.
No.
And it's a bad shooter. The sniping in that is so...
It's an RPG.
You can't tell me that that's a fucking... The sniping...
Twice. That thing is 100% an RPG.
Well, the dialogue options, yeah. But
No, dude.
No.
It has fucking levels, ability points, fucking loot.
it's not enough. You got a gun. It's a shooter.
As far as translating a shooter
100% an RPG.
into an RPG, at first I was kind of
Wait.
about.
Is it? It's more RPG than Destiny. Never mind. I won't even ask.
Yeah.
It's way more RPG than Destiny.
Yes, it is.
So as this is more going to be later for gameplay and mechanics of it, but as far as taking the ability to aim and shoot into like an RPG where you get better over time if you invest experience into it, I feel like that was a good way to go about it. It was frustrating to shoot certain weapons, but the better you got at it, the easier it was.
Yeah.
Oh, is that why you're so... He's just a horrible sniper?
Yeah.
That's part of it, but sniping is also
And
terrible.
so snipers are super powerful, and so like, well, how are we going to make it hard for you to actually snipe and make it actual skill to learn? Oh, well, let's make it like super crazy, and you can't even level up snipers until later most of the times too.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
you have to level up your assault rifle
Depending
to a certain
on
point.
what background you pick.
Yeah.
All right, so game came out November 20th, 2007. Obviously the first in the series of Mass Effect games. We're up to, what, 4 now? With Andromeda? Is that the 4th? I think it is. So we've got 1 through 3 on Origin, and then Andromeda. Is it canonical?
Andromeda isn't really part of it.
Oh, okay. So I guess one of a trilogy developed by BioWare, published by Microsoft Game Studios and EA, directed by Casey Hudson. This is a big series.
Oh, yeah.
So this is a big deal. There was a petition a while back, I remember, when petitions, started becoming a big thing for whiny fucking crybabies, where they petitioned the studio to rewrite the ending to Mass Effect 3, and it was like huge. Like a lot of people were so fucking mad about Mass Effect 3, and I'm like, these are probably the same guys that hated the ending to fucking The Sopranos back in like 2009 or 2008 or whatever. They probably hate the ending to Thrones. Like, and they want to rewrite.
I mean,
but
I hate the ending
There
of
was a
Thrones.
DLC
I've
ending to
greatly
3,
disliked
and
the
I
ending
guess,
to
like,
Thrones.
it hardly
Would you sign up
changed.
if you thought it could make a difference? Would you sign a petition to have them redo Thrones?
no, it's over. It's done.
I'm so sad.
I know it's like a there's like a pre-ending and a post-ending life, right? Like if you think about it, you're like, man, it's over, and you're just like, fuck, it's over. Like
It's
and that's how.
it.
Some of it's really I like where they went, but I don't like how they got there.
It's a crime.
It kind of is, yeah.
And then whatever studio or whatever they wanted to do next, the people who they're developing that next show for should be extremely cautious about trusting them, because what if they do the same thing to their show?
Well, don't worry, they're doing a Star Wars trilogy, so it's already not going to be that great. Because honestly, there are 2 great Star Wars movies, and they happened 20 years ago plus. There's the first Star Wars, and then there's Empire Strikes Back, and those are the two great Star Wars films. There are a couple good ones. There are multiple mediocre ones, and there are 2 to 3 bad Star Wars movies, and that's where we're at. So people saying that, like, oh, they're going to go ruin Star Wars now. No. George Lucas ruined Star Wars.
Yep.
And then everyone following him has just been, like, shambling along, like, look, it's episode 4 again. Look, it's a really, really shitty episode 8. Like, so yeah. But BioWare, I guess Andromeda is kind of hated, but I think Andromeda's hated for weird reasons.
Andromeda's graphics, I think, are the reason people don't like
Well,
it.
that's
the thing that I think
a lot of
is the
people
biggest
felt
problem.
like the combat was too watered down.
They went too Skyrim on it.
I played it for like a few minutes, and it didn't feel too bad to me, but...
So maybe it's like the Skyrim of Mass Effect, where like Skyrim's just super accessible, but then we're like, in Oblivion you could do like so much bullshit in Oblivion.
That's what I fucking loved about Oblivion, dude. You could like make a staff, like your own like custom staff or your own custom spells.
Yeah.
Like I made a fucking spell that did like bullshit for no reason. Like
exactly. Yeah.
Like there was one that I made a fucking. It'd shoot a fireball that did 1 damage, but it had like a fucking range of 60 feet. So it would fucking like blow up the entire fucking town. But it would only do like 1 damage. And then I had another one that would like fucking...
That's like Grand Theft Auto survival mode. Like in GTA 4, you go into the hospital and you just try to hold the cops off as long as you can.
Yeah, like
in Oblivion, you do that, and then you go into like a hallway and see if you can hold off the town horde because they're all coming for you.
I had this other fucking bullshit spell that was like, it did 15 points of fire damage, 15 points of electric damage, 15 points of ice damage, 15 points of like the vampire thing to like steal health, and then it would give me a magic shield for like 1 second, and then it would also summon a skeleton for 1 second.
That's fucking stupid. But yeah, it's fun.
I just did it because like I could.
I wonder if Andromeda
The mods
suffers
for that too. I was watching someone created a spell that would basically ragdoll people and throw them down, but then in the mod itself he added from Monty Python, the little foot that comes down from the sky. He added that to the animation where it went poof and stomp on people.
Nice. Nice. So I feel like Andromeda might have that same thing where like it just got too watered down.
There was where there's like so much you could do in the previous game.
It's weird though because the reaction to Skyrim is like extremely positive. So I wonder maybe if it's just a different time or maybe it's just a different.
I don't know. There's a lot of people that still like didn't even like Oblivion because Morrowind was the better one. But
yeah, I just think it's hipsters, douchebag hipsters.
I mean, I do enjoy Skyrim a lot. There's a lot to love about it, but fucking just the amount of shit you could do in Oblivion and like the amount of unique items in Oblivion were just like way better.
Yeah.
Because like in Oblivion, you can get a fucking ring that lets you walk on water, and you can't do that shit in Skyrim.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So we're not here to talk about those though. So maybe that's where the Mass Effect series went. I don't know. I haven't played. I know a lot of people like Andromeda. So
have you played Mass Effect?
I played it. I tried to do all of the quests, and I'm still doing the like talk to all of the like info droids in the first area. That's where I got to.
Why would you okay.
And then I couldn't find like one of them, and I was like, "Fuck this game." I'm done.
The keepers. You're looking for all the keepers.
Yeah, the
okay.
keepers. Yeah, the knowledge guys. So I've barely played the first Mass Effect, and I was considering.
You didn't even
playing it
go on your
with you.
first. Like you didn't actually leave and do anything.
No, yeah,
That's,
no.
okay. Well, this game was planned as a trilogy from the very beginning, I guess. So
that's kind of cool.
Really interesting. Like, I don't think that many games they plan for that.
50 Cent Bulletproof was definitely planning for the Blood in the Sand sequel.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
You just know it.
Fitty knows, yeah. Like at the very end, like you just see,
it just had to.
You just see a guy come in from a sandy area of the world, and it's just like, and the credits roll. It's like, oh shit, there's a sequel. He's setting it up.
It's like a Marvel, like
setting it up for the Arabic people to steal his fucking gems.
Little did people know, Marvel got its after credit scenes from 50 Cent Bulletproof.
Exactly, yeah. Every time they do an after credit scene, Fitty gets like Fitty K. That's their fucking their deal is like, give me Fitty. Like dollars, no. 1,000, yes. Okay. So he's gotten rich off of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah, so I guess there was like 130 people that were also involved in the development for this game too.
Oh shit, that's a pretty sizable team.
Yeah, they had a really big team for it, and then the game has 20,000 spoken lines of dialogue.
That seems like a lot.
Oh man! And how many different voice actors?
I'm not sure how many different.
Let
ones,
me pull that stat up real fast.
I imagine quite a few, but most of those are probably just from the different dialogue options that you have as Shepard, and then the responses. So it's probably mostly from the main crew and like who you're talking to, and not just from like random encounters. But yeah, like every single character is voiced. A lot of those like random aliens you talk to will be like voiced by the same dudes. Like those elephant-looking dudes,
Right?
Those guys, I think, have the same voice actor. But yeah, and then the look of the game, like that.
So the cast, it's safe to say the cast is the voice
Large.
actors, right?
Yeah,
74
nice
for Mass Effect.
That's quite a few.
Yeah, the dialogue is equivalent to about 20 movies, according to the director.
See
Or 4 to
stuff like
5
that,
novels.
man. Like stuff like that you don't get in Skyrim.
No, you
got,
get
like-
3 people doing
Well, it was
4,000 lines.
It was 4 people in Oblivion, and then it was like 10 in Skyrim.
Oh, so they did a 150% increase.
I'm pretty sure it's way more than that, but whatever. Yeah,
It's 12. 12 would be statistically way more.
I think I looked it up before, and it said something like at least 70, but I'm like, there's no way that's true.
And you know what Mass Effect has that Skyrim doesn't?
What's that?
Seth Green.
That's true.
You know what it also has? A very, very influential draw from Final Fantasy: The Spirits Within.
Yes, like the I could see that while playing the game.
It's the only thing that movie's influenced.
The visuals and the feel of the game were heavily influenced by like the major sci-fi movies and weirdly Final Fantasy Spirits.
Yeah, yeah. It's like that's also a sci-fi, but I would not call it major.
Like I could feel the Star Trek in it, and then like after having seen after being one of the 7 people who saw Spirits Within, like you could definitely like see it in that game.
Yeah, yeah. Well, what else you got? What's going on?
That's pretty much it for like development stuff.
How long did it take to develop the first one?
It took just over 3 years for their first game. They started doing it like right after I think Jedi Academy or something like that. It was one of the Star Wars games that BioWare made. It was like right after that they started some pre-development on Mass Effect. And then they didn't get all those lines of dialogue in until like basically right before it was done. Because there was so much that they had to do and record that they wanted to do. So
Right.
Nice.
And then, of course, the sequel came out like 3 years after that. This was like 2007 for the first Mass Effect.
Yeah, November 20th, 2007, and then
Yeah.
2010.
And then 2012, I think, for Mass Effect 3.
Yes.
Which is
Wow.
also
That's fantastic.
That's also when it came out for PS3. It was 2012. They did the Mass Effect collection.
Yeah, yeah. We unfortunately... Did you get the copy of Mass Effect? Did I loan it to you?
No.
Or did I just buy one? I bought one.
You bought one. Yeah.
So we have one for the 360 that is now available as a giveaway game. I mean, you probably already played it, but if you want to, it's here. So yeah, we were gonna do the 3-pack, but I feel like the 3-pack was like when I said that, Alexa heard me and knew that I wanted it, and then like changed the pricing because it was like cheap, and then I looked again and I'm like, where's all the cheap 3-packs? Like they're gone, and Alexa's just over there with her little blue bar, like whoa, whoa. There are no cheap. I can't allow you to do that, Caleb.
I feel like if you try
You
to
have to
order it
spend
from
money.
that one, it goes for the one that's advertised, which is usually the most expensive one.
Yeah, and then it's like buy new and
if
used
you're
for
looking
$12.
on Amazon, you have to you have to look at the used and new. Otherwise, you find shit like
How much is the not cheap one that you're looking at?
It was like 40 or plus, and I'm like,
pretty sure I
bought it
paid
for-
$20 for my 3-pack.
See, I bought my
Yeah.
3-pack on PC for $10, and that was like 4 or 5 years ago for all three of them. And the reason why I bought it on PC and not PS3 is because you can't carry your character through all three games
Right.
on PlayStation. You can only do it on the PC or Xbox, I believe.
And it did that for Mass Effect too.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, why would I? That's like one of the cool things about the game. So I'm going to just do it on PC. And then I just didn't find the keepers, and I'm like, you know what, fuck this game. I'm not playing this game right now. Which is super douche, and I should have played it with you guys, but
And
Dude,
then
the
didn't.
keepers
scanning all the keepers really doesn't do anything.
no,
for
I know
it.
it's just a side quest. I wanted to do it though.
It's a decent thing to do, like right at the beginning for a couple of them, because it gives you some okay XP. But then you get way more later for just doing random shit and killing dudes.
I just did a whole bunch of the side quests outside of the Citadel that you got assigned side quest by just random people inside of it. I did a lot of like the back and forth between the NBC stuff just for the levels, and it was fun.
Yeah, you also get like a lot of Paragon or Renegade points doing that shit.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's a story. The story for the game is basically there's an attack on a human settlement called Eden Prime. You're sent to go figure out
Did we,
what fucking happened.
Want to get into any of the setting or what happened right before you take control of Commander Shepard?
Yeah, you guys could set it up.
I mean, if you want to.
Okay. I'm just going to go in the recent history, just basically for humans. So humans found on Mars some artifacts that were left there by is it like the Forerunners?
The Protheans.
The Protheans that
It's the
jump-started
Forerunners or something like that in Halo.
that jump-started the human tech and started becoming spacefaring. And a part of it is they found tech for the mass relay and found a mass relay where the term
Wait.
mass
They
effect-
found relics
yeah.
on Mars. You're telling me?
Yeah, from the Transformers that obviously...
was it that relic or was it something else?
Anyways,
it's a portal to the...
Oh
portal
my
to-
god!
they found
Fucking hell.
so kind of like almost like a Stargate type of thing where these mass relays can forward you to another system within the Milky Way galaxy, and the humans. They're going to be important later, which is why I want to talk about the mass relays real fast. So the mass relays will basically as a way to go faster than light FTL travel to another system within the galaxy, and by doing so, we humans were able to find new worlds, and they were able to colonize new worlds. And then they found another mass relay, and they were going to use it. However, another spacefaring alien race saw the humans that they were going to activate this mass relay and decided to attack them. Those other spacefaring aliens were the Turians. This evolved into a first contact war for the humans where the humans and the Turians fought. The Turians destroyed the human fleet that was going to use that mass relay, went to that world that was colonized by the humans and occupied it, and were destroying it and destroying the humans on there. And then the humans came back with their entire fleet and wiped out all the Turians who had invaded and just destroyed them. And this was going to make the Turians retaliate in kind with their entire force, but they were soon stopped by the Council because the Citadel found out and were like, oh, hey, look, humans are now on the playing field. Let's be friends with them now because they can provide us technology. Look, they have ships and stuff. And the Turians were super mad about that, which is why there's some hate or, racism between humans and Turians because of that brief first contact war that you'll kind of find out about through the game. And so that's how the humans are now on the council, not part of the council, but now they have a diplomat embassy within the Citadel, this large ancient artifact that all the intelligent races are now
it's
occupying.
kind of like the central government for like these group of aliens that are
Yep, and then
ruling the galaxy.
The Citadel
The
is
UN.
is older
Basically.
than any of the. It's Prothean, older than the Protheans. They know, and then
But you're not supposed to.
Wait, so is this place just
Yeah,
as
they know
useless as the UN?
Huh?
'Cause
Sometimes
I
it feels
remember
like
it
it.
actually being pretty useless, actually, because those guys got away with a lot of shit.
they never help you. You just report to them. They never give you any sort of assistance.
God damn it. Okay.
The only assistance they give you is they give you a Spectre status and let you buy like Spectre weapons.
And so,
Oh, okay. So
And
they're
so-
arms dealers as well.
you
Well,
find out.
not really.
And so so it's just the council and it's super old building, and that for this alien species, the keepers, the things that you were scanning, are the ones that keep it running for some reason, but they can never communicate with them, and they don't bother them because they keep the place going for whatever reason. No one knows. But yeah, so now you cut to another one of the human colonies being attacked, and so you and Commander Shepard.
Yeah, I always want to call him Colonel too. but
Colonel
it's
Shepard
Commander
is
Shepard.
from Stargate Atlantis, but Commander Shepard and his team are whisked over to Eden Prime to investigate and find out that the Geth are attacking this planet the humans have colonized. And during this mission, no, that's the next mission. Yeah. So you go in and you find out, is this the one where that Turian Spectre's with you?
Yeah, that's
yeah.
where that guy is.
Yep. So a Turian Spectre, inspectors are basically a special task force that can operate outside of the law.
Yeah, they're basically like a Black Ops unit that are like more important.
Yeah, that's just basically they've given this entity the ability to do what they think is right and operate outside the law.
They answer only to the council.
Correct.
So.
And so he's supposed to be there to observe Shepard's actions during this conflict because he's being considered for the Spectres. So Commander Shepard and his team drop down. He immediately loses a guy who, promptly forget about later. And then you and one of your teammates, Kaden, advance through investigating and destroying Geth. And then you pick up another teammate, Ashley, on this planet because her squad was wiped out, whom she promptly forgets about. And then you move forward and you discover... No, you don't discover. You hear about it. So... Separately, that Turian who was there to investigate to see how well you do, he drops in somewhere else, and he finds out that Saren, another Turian Spectre, is there as well, and ends up shooting him in the back. And then Commander Shepard hears about this from an eyewitness of that account. And so you're like, well, why is he here? Why is the Geth here? And that leads you to the Prothean...
Beacon,
yeah. The Prothean beacon, which soon zaps Commander Shepard full of imagery and information from the Protheans, but he can't make sense of it. And so that's kind of where the game actually begins. The story begins.
Yeah, and so right after that, you kind of go back to the Citadel, and you guys go like, "Hey, Saren, fucking betrayed everybody. Like, what the fuck is going on?" So they take it to the council. Council doesn't believe him because he's a Spectre, and of course because racism. And then they have to go gather some evidence on the Citadel, which eventually leads them to a Quarian named Tali, who happens to have taken a piece of voice recording of Saren, basically confirming that he was behind the Eden Prime attack. Then the council essentially sends Commander Shepard, now a Spectre, after Saren.
Yeah. So they find out that now you have evidence, and they go ahead and promote you to Spectrehood to help you investigate more, because it takes a Spectre to investigate another Spectre.
Yeah.
Through this, you also find Rex and Garrus, two other permanent additions to your team. As you go
Both
about
of them being the greatest teammates ever, especially
investigating
Rex.
the goings on within the Citadel. And so now you are able to leave with them and begin investigating and following Saren. One thing that kind of bothered me just a little bit is now that Commander Shepard is a Spectre, he should no longer be Commander Shepard, because Commander Shepard is a U.S.
It's not a U.S.
It's a World Alliance rank,
or just Shepard.
and the World Alliance is loaning their ship Normandy to Spectre Shepard.
I guess they call him Commander because that was his status in the human army.
Right, that was his rank, but he's no longer, like, they make this a point later that he's a human, but he's no longer an Alliance asset.
Yeah.
He's a Council asset. So he should no longer have a human Alliance rank, is my opinion.
Yeah, true.
That's just one nitpicky thing, but
anyway, so they send him to one of 3 places. You can choose basically how you start, but
yep. So 3 different places that you can start out your investigation.
One of the places is Pharos, where you find out that Saren's ship Sovereign has mind control powers. Another place that you go to is Novaria, where you find Matriarch Benezia, one of the cohorts of Saren. You find out that she's being mind controlled, kind of, by Saren. And you also find out that that's where they were trying to breed an army of these
Krogan.
Existent. No, not yet.
Okay.
It's the part where the Rachni.
Oh, yeah.
They're trying to
Peak 15 or 47.
Peak 15, yeah. And then they were trying to breed an army of these devastated...
A lot of backstory and a lot of lore there,
Yeah.
too, that you could get into if you want, but it's not divulged in the game itself, really.
These Rachni. And then after that, there's another place you can go to for the dig site of
The dick site?
Yeah,
Dig.
dig site.
Isn't that part of the game too, though? Your dick sites?
Basically. There's a... For
plant
Liara
that
Sony...
seed.
That's more in
she's-
like gameplay or
She happens
Oh,
to
that's
be
true,
the
that's true.
daughter of Benezia, and
Yeah.
Benezia gives you...
so that dig site. That's where you find Liara.
Yeah. Also, Benezia helps Shepard with some mind shit, so she like gives him the cipher to kind of understand the beacon more.
That comes later.
There's another part with Liara that does that more, but that's what happens. With
Liara
Benezia.
tries to help. she does her mind meld with you.
They
and she
all do
reads
that,
it.
yeah.
But he needs the key to the cipher, and that's what he gets later.
I totally
that's
played
what
more of this.
That's what he gets with Benezia.
No, not Benezia. Benezia's one of her.
No, Benezia gives him the cipher, dude. That was like she connects.
Remember-
she connects to him with her mind.
You remember the planet
before
with
you
with
destroy
the,
her.
with the giant sentient plant that was mind controlling people,
Yes.
and that clone you kept fighting over and over again. She's the one who gives you the key to understand.
You're right. Okay. Yeah. But Benezia does do something to you, and I can.
She helps a little bit, yeah. But
All right, and then so you get Benezia's daughter, Liara, and she helps you with some mind shit because she also is like the leading person on the Protheans. And then after that, you go to is it Vermeer?
yeah,
That's the one where you have to like fight the Geth off, where you have to leave one of your teammates behind. I believe that's next.
Yes.
Okay, so you find out where Saren's base of operations is. Basically,
Is on Vermeer. Yep.
And so you have to get there, and you're gonna like nuke it. Essentially, is the plan.
And then as the story goes along, you have to make a whole bunch of decisions that affect direct members of your party. And part of this is one of your best followers, Rex, who's a Krogan.
Yeah.
Krogans,
They're suffering
they became
from a genetic
uppity.
disease.
They became uppity at one point in the past and were wiping other species out. So the Turians worked with the Solarians. Turians are more militaristic. Solarians are very intelligent. And they created what they called the genophage, which is this disease that attacks the genetics of Krogans.
so
to
they
where,
can't really breed.
So it makes it to where a lot of births will fail due to inabilities to deliver and stuff like that, which effectively stops the Krogans from breeding as quickly as possible. The original intent was to make it so they would, not breed super fast and not,
But now they can't fix it.
But then Krogans don't really care about. They like to go fight and kill people and earn money through mercenary work instead of like really breeding all the time.
Yeah.
And so they kind of fuck themselves over a little bit too with that.
Yeah, the Krogans are basically dying out.
Yeah.
And so what Saren is doing is he's trying to breed an army of Krogans because he's found a cure for the genophage.
Cure with quotes.
Yeah. And Rex is really freaking out about this because he's like, hey, we can't destroy this like you guys are planning because it's the cure for my people. We need this. He's like, well, yeah, we could do that, but remember your people would end up being brain-controlled slaves of Saren, so that wouldn't be a great idea.
It was more along the lines of, hey, Saren's evil, like I understand, and I'll help you find it, but we don't have the time here. We need to destroy this place.
Yeah.
And so depending on how you make the choices there, that'll affect whether or not Rex will come with you or not.
Yeah, you'll either kill him right then and there, or he'll keep joining you. So.
Yeah.
Which I saved him because I didn't want to lose the best party member in the game.
And then sometimes you feel a little like scared about the choices because they do affect the game, but the choices are like you kind of know.
Don't at the same time.
You kind of know what choices to pick to get the outcome you want. It's not like super like
it's pretty obvious,
guessing,
especially if you
pick.
have like high Paragon or Renegade. You get like separate options,
Right.
which will be.
But I was
either
never
blue
high enough Renegade
or red.
or Paragon to actually effectively choose any of those answers ever. I'm like, I'm pretty high. I'm really high Paragon, but I still can't pick this option for some reason.
Some of those are like ridiculous. They require insanely high amounts.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you end up nuking the place. You get into Saren's ship of Sovereign. You find out that it's actually one of the Reapers that the Geth worship.
And so part of this is now that you have the code to really decipher what's in your mind, Liara helps you find out that the Protheans left the beacons is a warning of the Reapers. The Reapers are this very ancient AI machine race that will wake up every so often to wipe out
Every 50,000 years, I guess, is what it was.
To wipe out most of
destroy
sentient
organic
life.
Yeah.
And they will do this, no one knows why. And then you find out
And
that,
they never explain why, and that's kind of irritating.
and then you find out that Saren had found this Reaper, and Saren had originally thought that, hey, he could use this Reaper for his own benefit. And that's how Saren was able to actually recruit the Geth, who look at the Reaper as a form of their god, their deity.
Yeah.
Of a super intelligent AI, which is now why Saren's able to coordinate an attack with the Geth. But slowly over time, when he's trying to recruit people, like Benezi originally tried to side with Saren as a way to try to influence him back to a good path. But over time, she was slowly bent against her will to operate and move with Saren. And you're finding out that the Reapers can, to some extent or another, kind of brainwash you and force organic matter under their own willpower.
Yeah.
And now you're beginning to realize that Saren might not actually be in as much of control of his actions as he thinks he is.
But then you find out he totally is.
No, it's very subtle, but he is no longer in control.
Well,
of his
he
actions.
mentions that if they're like completely under Sovereign's control, they lose like efficiency, which is why Saren is being saved, because like he's still efficient, so he's completely.
I still feel
controlled.
like that Saren is controlled.
There's
but
probably
he has some extent
there's
of,
probably some control,
but he's definitely not in
but it's
control
not-
of the. He's definitely not in control.
He's not one of the indoctrinated.
He's definitely not in control, but he's still being brainwashed. So, yeah, and so that's what you find out, that what's happening, and this whole time you're going back to the council with your findings, and time after time they refuse to believe your story just because you're the only one reporting it. They have no other substantiated evidence of it.
Yeah. And so Sovereign reveals that the Reapers are like outside the Milky Way, and they're just like waiting to use the relays so they can destroy everything. And And then, so you like got to choose who you want to save between like your teammates of Ashley or Caden,
Right.
because you have to like leave one of them behind because everybody got separated.
So you had one of your team member join the distraction to pull the Geth away to them, so you and a smaller team could covertly, insert yourselves into Saren's base, set up the nuke. And then there comes a moment where you need to choose: do you go and help save the individual that's setting the nuke, or do you go and help save the person doing the distraction? And after you make that choice, you will then have your first boss battle with Saren.
What did you guys choose?
What do you mean?
Who did you choose to live?
I chose Ashley because I was banging her. And
What about
Cam chose Cade.
I chose Caden because I'm
You were
banging him.
banging him?
No,
and because
you can't do that
Ashley
in the game.
is pretty racist.
I didn't like Ashley
and
from the
pretty
beginning.
aggressive about it
Yeah.
until like you work through her shit. So
you liked her more?
not really. I was mostly doing it for the romance option because I did the other one my first playthrough. So yeah, when you fight Saren kind of tells you that the reason he joined up with Sovereign in the first place was to try and save as many organic life as possible because he knew that fighting against the Reapers would be
Suicidal.
suicidal essentially. And so he's like, yeah, I just went with the most logical path because we got to save
It is
some of
better.
us.
I mean, they said that line in the trailer. It is better to be subservient than to go extinct.
Yeah. And then, so Liara, after that, is able to find the conduit, which is like the next thing that they need to find for like more visions or whatever.
They need to find the conduit because
and then
so the conduit is actually the thing that connects this whole thing back to the Citadel. The conduit is on the old Prothean, or I don't know if it's the homeworld or just the Prothean sperm bank that just holds all the frozen Protheans. But the conduit, you can't get to it easily because the mass relay that takes you to that particular system had been set adrift at one point and is now, and they didn't know where it was until they found out that it was smack dab in the middle of a nebula or something like that.
Yeah.
And it was dangerous to go use it.
Yeah, so it's on a world called Ilos. And then that's where Shepard finds out that the Citadel is actually a huge mass relay station that the Reapers are planning to use to invade the galaxy.
And as you're learning about it, as you go to Ilos, and you're chasing Saren through the the old planet, you were taken off to the side by an old AI that the Protheans had made, and he tells you the end of the Protheans basically, and that how they had discovered that the Reapers had actually made the Citadel and made the mass relays, and their goal is to orchestrate the way the technology evolves among sentient species in a way that they set down, because they want them to find the Citadel. They want them to use the Citadel. They want their government formed there just to make it that much easier to exterminate them.
Yeah, and they're like, we do this for no particular reason that we'll care to tell you because we are beyond your understanding.
Well, a little bit of that, but they also want to dictate the human progression just so every time they come back that there's no surprises, basically. That they use the technology that's provided and the science that's provided, and there's no reason to find anything else.
Yeah.
And so every time the Reapers come back, that's exactly the same story for them every time. And so you find out that there's a different version of the mass relay from the conduit, and then you find out that from the Protheans, that the few scientists that lived, that they were able to keep alive, they use the conduit to go back to the Citadel.
Yeah, they made
because they find out that the Keepers are the ones that send the alert to the Reapers out into deep space to cue the next calling, and so they go back and do something to make it so where the Keepers no longer can receive that signal to send to notify the rest of the Reapers about it.
Yeah,
and preventing a next calling, or at least slowing it down.
Yes.
And so at this time you find out about it. You're still chasing Saren, but now you need to go to that conduit or the smaller Mass Effect relay that will take you directly into the center of the Citadel.
Yeah, and so Saren plans to attack the Citadel so he can undo all that shit so they can bring all the Reapers in.
Correct.
Which is basically then where you fight all the Reapers, or you fight like a shitload of Geth. You have like the entire fleet try and fight off Sovereign while you fight Saren inside the Citadel. After you kill Saren, Sovereign reanimates his corpse to attack you again.
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually like the humans are reinforced by other aliens of the thing to destroy the Reaper, and then
so what happens as far as the space battle stuff goes
with some more choices
when you use the conduit to come back in, the Reaper ship, what's it called again?
Sovereign,
yeah. So Sovereign and a whole bunch of Geth ships attack the Citadel, and the defending fleets, including the Asari flagship, the Ascension, are now defending the Citadel, and they try to evacuate the Council on the Ascension as well. As the space fight goes on, you outside of the Citadel, you're fighting inside, and you try to close the Citadel before
any of the Geth or anything can get through.
The Reaper ship,
Sovereign,
comes inside and latches onto basically the tip of the Citadel where you're at.
Man, I can't believe you can't remember that dude's name. Like,
Sovereign, I know.
He's such a badass. Like when you're talking to him, he's like, "I am Sovereign."
And so now you're fighting. Saren
and Sovereign get
and you kill him
together.
And then you do the whole classic, go make sure he's really dead, and he's not.
Yeah,
really
so you
dead.
shoot him
because I've had a few
face.
upgrades.
Oh no, he's totally dead. Sovereign is the one that
and then Sovereign. So basically, you're fighting Saren first, then Saren dies, and now Sovereign has taken over. Now you're fighting Sovereign. Although I really like that part where you're trying to get back to the council room, the part where you have to go outside of the ship and you're fighting outside.
Yeah, that
was a lot of fun. Anyways, you go back in, and then you open up after you fight and destroy Sovereign. You open up the Citadel again, so now the other ships can attack Sovereign. Before that, you have a decision to tell your fleet to either protect the Ascension and the council members that are on it, or you can tell them to ignore it and just attack Sovereign. That choice really only affects your life in the next game. In this game, it doesn't really have any effect because you're still going to fight and kill Sovereign. But that's just a choice you can make, a Paragon or Renegade choice. But then Joker comes in, leads the attack on Sovereign now that he's finally vulnerable, and Human Alliance and the Council, or whatever the group of aliens are called, everyone involved, destroy Sovereign, and yay.
Yep, and then you choose, and then they're like, yeah, humanity is ready to join the Council.
Who do you recommend?
Yeah, and they're like, yeah, I bet your words are going to carry a lot of weight with with us on who you pick, so who do you want? And then
you have a choice between the douchebag ambassador Udina, or...
Yeah, you can choose Udina, you can choose...
Or Alpha
or let Udina
Fighter.
pick somebody, or you can pick Captain Anderson, your disgraced
Alpha
captain.
Anderson. The fucking alpha male Anderson.
Dude, freaking when that one cutscene where like Anderson punches fucking Udina and knocks him out so he could use his computer. It's fucking sweet.
So there's two choices there too. You can tell him to let the Normandy out by sneaking into C-Sec and getting it manually undoing the override, which he'll get shot, but he won't die. Or he can go in and rescind the lockdown order from Udina's computer by punching Udina in the face.
It seems kind of refreshing that we have a game that actually takes your choices into account. Because, like, Telltale will play with it, and then it'll be like, oh, well, there's this stream of story. And this one, it sounds like it does it too, because there's a part where you choose which character lives and dies.
Yeah.
But that's like every time in Telltale. It's like, character A
I
has
feel like
this track, character B
they
has
were
this track.
they were touching on making your choices count, but a lot of
feel like
of repercussions for those choices don't happen until the second game.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
the first game's choices kind of don't really matter until you continue the story.
I mean, I guess it adds replayability, but if it doesn't, yeah, okay.
Yeah, so it's a lot of it still kind of
because it's basically
yeah.
like, oh, certain characters won't be with you in the second game, or like, oh, certain choices you made in the first game like drastically affect
so,
like what you're
if
doing
you don't,
in the second game.
If you don't save the council in the first game, the second game, there's a lot more racist tension and violence.
Yeah, and then like if you don't pick Captain Anderson as the member of the council for the humans, then you don't get your Spectre status.
But it's
back.
not in the second game. It's not actually like really your Spectre game.
Wait, so you guys have played the second game too?
I started the second game.
Oh, okay.
It's like an honorary
I
Spectre.
played the second one before, yeah.
But I feel like it's good. They touched a lot on choice. A lot of the decisions you can make really just affect your relationship with your crew in particular. But you can be a complete and total asshole in the whole game and still get the same ending.
Yeah, a lot of the renegade choices are mostly for comedy, I feel like.
Yeah,
because you basically just end up being a dick.
And the second game, though, the reason why I think a lot of people think the second game of the series is by far the best is your choices really do make a fucking impact.
Yeah, every choice in that game really matters, and they really went hardcore with the moral choices in that one too.
Yeah, because like Fable, it's cool because you have the choice, but it doesn't really matter. Like there's different endings, but it's like there's a good ending, there's a bad ending, and there's a meh. You were kind of an okay guy ending.
Yeah,
but
it also affects like your crew members in the second game, where like there's characters that are more on the renegade side.
Yeah,
and if you want to be more friendly with them, you have to be more of a dick.
No, because you can still be so each character you can be you and make your own choices, but you can interact with that character the way they want you to interact with them, and you can still build up. In the second game, you can build up loyalty with your crew members, and that actually affects the outcome of who lives and who dies at the end of it, basically. But anyways, that's story for the first Mass Effect game. Do you have any questions, Ernie, about the story?
I mean, it sounds really interesting. It sounds pretty sci-fi. It kind of has like almost like a new. Well, not new Star Wars trilogy, but like prequel kind of political feel to it. There's a lot more going on behind the scenes. I like the intrigue in the game. I did play past that part, actually. I'm remembering like finding people and going in like there's the pod things and then the dudes coming at you. I don't know. I remember shooting.
the basically the flood plant.
Yeah, it was like the flood.
Oh, you went to Novaria? Okay.
Yeah. And there's like a part where you're on this big, long walkway with a sniper, and it's just atrocious to use. I was
you
like,
don't have
God.
to use the sniper.
Well, they were so far away, though, and I was like, oh, this is the perfect time. And I zoom in, and it's like...
pistol.
And it's like flying everywhere, and I'm like, how do you
This
hit?
playthrough, I found out pistol is just as OP as it is in Halo.
Oh, Cameron, if you
it's
got
pistol shotgun combo,
if you
that I
got
went
pistol
with.
OP,
Yeah, me too.
then you're going to be just fine in Drake's Fortune because the pistol is the ultimate weapon in that game.
Well, see, it's still going to be
Okay.
better in Drake's Fortune just because
it's a fucking cover-based shooter and not
because
an RPG.
you point and you shoot and you shoot, but and you hit what you're aiming at. But in Mass Effect, it's all about chance. So you could hit within your reticle, and your reticle is always large.
That's how it is.
Yeah,
in
with the
Drake's
pistol,
Fortune,
like
too.
it's fucking tiny, and you have so many shots, dude. You can shoot so many times with that gun, and it shoots as fast as you can pull the trigger.
Oh, that's
you can
so
actually hold it
fast.
down and just do automatic pistol fire.
Really?
Yeah, you didn't
Can
know
just
that?
do that with every pistol?
Uh-huh. You'll overheat faster, but yeah.
Oh, I just kept pressing it.
But see, that's what you do when you do the as far as gameplay. So should we just hop into gameplay?
I could just see Craig like. I'm just remembering all the times where he's like, dude, I got so much gold that match in Age of Empires, and I look at my gold and it's like 19,000, and his is like 3,000. And I'm like, yeah, Craig. I could just see him like, I could shoot this gun so fast. It's just.
So
It's like,
we
this is
could,
a minigun.
we could
in my
jump into a
hands.
little bit
Fuck you.
of gameplay to where when you pull it down, it's a cover-based, sort of a cover-based shooter.
It's
third
mostly
person.
cover.
I mean, what do you guys?
And
What do
you
you
have-
Otherwise,
guys?
you get absolutely fucked. It's more of a tactical based.
Okay, yeah.
Shooter.
We have to give story.
What do you give
story.
this story though? Out of 10.
Okay.
9 out of 10.
Yeah, 9 out of 10. It's a really good story, although there is some stuff that bothers me. Like the way that the game is set up, it doesn't really the first part lets you choose where you want to go as a freedom to the player kind of thing, but it doesn't really connect anything. For instance, when you get the character Liara, who happens to be Benezia's daughter, you never tell her that you murdered her mom if you do that first part.
So as far as gameplay goes, when you go to land somewhere, you can pick who comes with you, and Liara is one of the teammates you can choose to come with you. And a part of it, that mission when you go to interrogate Benezia, if you have Liara come with you, there's a whole dialogue between the two of them, and the mother-daughter stuff they talk about, and you can do that mission without Liara. It's totally fine to do that.
Yeah.
And that's where some of the replay value is, depending on which teammates you take. You open up different dialogue options.
Yeah, you can just do different stuff. But this time, every time I play it, I usually do it first because I hate that mission. But anyway, you never tell Liara what happens
and so
to her
he
mom.
went in and killed.
Yeah, so I
Benezia.
basically just murdered Benezia, and then we were just all buddy with Liara, and I was like, well, you never gonna mention that you fucking straight up killed her mom, okay.
It's funny because...
And then there was literally a cutscene
Yeah.
with Ashley where she's like, we're going to have to tell her that we killed her mom, and that's going to suck. And then it just never happened.
You just never...
I was like, what the fuck, dude?
she must have found out through context because you mention it later
yeah,
and she's
but
around.
she's still super friendly, and I'm like, okay, we just never had this chat, and I'm glad that
Little bit of oversight.
you're totally fine with it. So I wish the choices mattered a little more in that kind of sense. Like there should be some tension between these characters, especially if you don't talk to them about it.
Yeah.
I talked to her and it never came up, so I was like, okay, well then fine. I guess we're just never gonna mention that happened.
Yeah.
And then the whole sovereign thing, their motivations behind what they're doing. I guess it doesn't really matter that you don't find out in the first game. I'm sure you do in the third one, but
you do. They were speculating. In this game itself, during the story, they do speculate why they're doing this. Are they harvesting? Do they need supplies? Do they need slaves?
Yeah,
what's the purpose?
They always say that, but I'm but then they're like, but it doesn't really matter. And then Sovereign,
if you pull it down to it,
was
does it really matter why just gotta stop them.
I know, but then Sovereign's also you don't need to understand because we are beyond you. And I'm like, this is the laziest thing I've ever heard.
It's always stupid when you catch the villain monologuing and giving the whole plan and reason why.
Well, I know, but if he's totally going to destroy you all anyway, what's the fucking point? And it's just
they don't need a reason. They're beyond you.
Yeah, but he's like, I'm going to tell you.
Yeah, he just told you that,
Well,
bro.
he's just like, I'm going to tell you a bunch of shit, and then I'm going to tell you that, but you wouldn't understand because I'm beyond you.
Well, what if their technology intelligence is far beyond yours?
He gave them a shitload of information anyway, and then he was just like, yeah, but I won't tell you why. Because it's beyond you.
It is beyond you.
Greg's like, I'm sick of people saying that.
Do you think when aliens make first contact and start destroying the shit out of us, that they're going to tell us why they're doing it?
No, I just don't like him being like, I'm going to do this and this.
We're beyond you.
And I'm doing this and this.
I'm pretty sure it'd be the same thing. That they're like, hey, we're going to kill you because you don't need to know.
He gives you his plans. When you talk to Sovereign, he tells you what he's going to do, but then he's like, but I won't tell you why because it's beyond you. And I'm like, okay, so you're going to tell us exactly what you're doing, exactly the monologuing you just talked about, but he's not going to give me any motivation for it. He's just like, yeah, we're doing it because we're evil, I guess. Maybe, possibly. But you don't know because it's beyond you. But yeah, anyway, so yeah, it's really good. I like fucking Rex. He had a lot of character development if you save him.
A brief
and just over time he becomes he's less of a thug and is more like, yeah, I do what I have to kind of guy.
A brief overview of the gameplay. When you start out, you can do character creation, change the look of your soldier character you want. You can do male shepherd or female shepherd. And then you could pick your...
Female shepherd is fem shep.
Yeah. Well, that's shorthand for female shepherd. Thank you, Craig. And then
they don't call male shepherd male shep.
They just call him Shep.
They just call him shepherd.
Yeah. Isn't he canonically male? Or is it not?
Yeah.
Is it? Oh, okay.
and then
Uh-oh. No, I'm just kidding.
and then
You can still choose Schweiss.
you could pick the background, and the background kind of dictates how what abilities Strippers has and what arms or firearms he's proficient in the rest of the game. And so it lists them all. It said like soldier, infiltrator. Basically, soldier just makes you make it so you can be proficient with any gun you want to be proficient in, and that's what I picked for my first playthrough. But other things like infiltrator will give you 2 different weapons that you can be proficient in, but then it'll open up tech abilities to you or biotic abilities to you.
I went with the one that was like the tech biotic mix.
And with those abilities, biotic abilities, you can manipulate biotic material around you. You can freeze people. You can paralyze people. You can
like knock them down.
Tech abilities will allow you to
hack
overshield,
into things,
hack into weapons
create
and
a
things,
shield
and stuff like that. But the beauty of this game is you can pick your shepherd, but then you can design your fire team around the playstyle that you want and have team members who are proficient in things that you are not. And I think that's really cool as a part of it.
Yeah, like Rex is a fucking tank that's a beast with shotguns and can
so
create
Rex is combat
shielding
power and tech.
Yeah, and then
no, Rex is combat power and biotic strength, and then, Garrus
is like sniping and tech stuff.
So Garrus is the infiltrator. I forget what Rex is, but anyways, this whole thing lets you or wants you to take fighting a little slower, a little more step by step, and think it out. You have a 3-man team. Your characters can go down in the fight, but they'll get back up after the fight's over. You can outfit yourself with different armors, and you can level up your armor ability. Depending on what background class will dictate the highest level armor you can use. Soldier has heavy human armor available to use. Then you have add-ons to your armor to make it do one other thing a little bit better. You have all these different weapons: a handgun, shotgun, assault rifle, sniper rifle, grenade launcher. No, just grenades.
You just have grenades, yeah.
And then, depending on how good the weapon is, it'll affect its damage it's able to output, but it also lets you have more slots. So you can modify the ammo with it, you can modify the recoil, you can modify the heat dissipation, which affects how many shots you can do before it overheats.
And depending on like the background you pick, like I had the biotic tech fusion thing. I was able to equip an Omni tool and a biotic amp, which also do that stuff, but they boost
increases
your tech
abilities.
skill and your biotic skills, yeah.
And then as you play through the game, and you'll level up, and same with your teammates, your fire squad. One thing to note is you don't have to take out everyone that you can take out and level up individually. Everyone levels up at the same rate. Yeah. So you don't have to worry about you haven't used so-and-so in a while, they're going to be underpowered. You can just quickly throw their points to where you want them to level up. And so each character you have has their own special ability that they can do. Like Rex has a battle master that you can level up that helps him in a very specific way. Garrus has a Turian agent that you can level up that helps him specifically, and I feel like that's the most important thing to get up for each individual character. But then for each weapon that you want to specialize in, you can put points into there, which helps you increase the amount of damage you can output with that weapon.
Damage and
accuracy. And then as you level up,
which is really important because it like lessens the reticle, and then with the snipers it like lessens the shakiness. Yeah. And the more you level up at a certain weapon, you'll unlock abilities that you can use with that weapon. And so really, during combat,
in the pause menu, you can actually tell your side characters whether or not you want them to use their abilities automatically, or if you want them to wait for you to tell them when and how to use their abilities.
Yeah, and there's also like a tactical menu that you can bring up that allows you to tell your guys whether you want them to go and attack stuff, or if you want them to rally around you, or to stay in position. If you want them to use a certain weapon, because everybody can use one of 4. And then there's another thing that lets you choose which ability you want them to use at that particular moment.
If they haven't already used it because you told them to.
Yeah, they have cooldowns and stuff like that. So.
And then Shepard, because he's a Spectre, he has special abilities like Unity, which makes it so he can revive fallen teammates.
Yeah, it's basically just the one ability that gets leveled up, but it revives both of your fallen teammates if they're both dead. Gives them a certain amount of health, and then I think at max is like full shield. And
then one of the since I went pistol shotgun Shep, I got I think it's overkill for the pistol.
Shoddy Shep.
Yeah. And
sounds like a rapper.
With the overkill ability, it increases your accuracy with the pistol, increases your firing speed with the pistol, and makes it so during the whole duration of that ability, your pistol doesn't overheat. And so it basically becomes a machine pistol at that point.
Oh, yeah, and that shit becomes
crazy.
And
so that's when you hold it down. You have infinite fire. You just hold it down. And you can do the same thing without it, overkill going on, but you're less accurate while doing it, and you overheat real fast.
Oh, man, the pistol... takes forever to overheat too, which is just why
if you just burst firing, it's
so
great.
Beastly, dude.
And when I first started playing this game a while ago on the Xbox, I didn't really understand this mechanic, and it took me a second to understand the mechanic again this time. But one super important thing about weapons is you make sure you're fucking using the modified ammunition that's good against the type of people you're fighting. It makes a fucking world of difference. And there is a list of special ammos you can use. If you're fighting against Geth, you want armor piercing. If you fight against organics, you want something that's will either decay them or with radiation damage or toxic damage and stuff like that, or shredder rounds which rip apart organic material.
I went with the corrosive every time, just because it added a poison stat which affected everybody, and it was amazing.
I ended up only using at near the end when I had it was incendiary rounds, because that would burn both mechanics and flesh alike pretty well.
I had incendiary,
and I didn't have to worry about keep swapping it back and forth. Oh man, it would just keep burning and burning and just DOT damage on people, killing behind cover and stuff like that.
Good.
And so, and each weapon has its own special, range to use it again. Of course, anything that was medium and further, I would use pistol, and I would hotkey my shotgun to my other one. So if they charged in, because Krogans are wont to just charge straight into you, you pull out your shotgun, get some hammerhead rounds in that because it has a lot more knockdown power. So you could quickly knock them down and put another cap on them as they're laying out on the ground.
Yeah.
Really useful during that plant fights and all those zombies after you, because those do a whole bunch of toxic damage to you, which make you take a lot more damage later. Knock them down, kill them before they can explode on Garrus, and he fucking dies like a little bitch he is.
Dude, he dies so much.
So it sounds like there's a lot more customization than I realized in this game.
Oh, yeah. It's deep.
Dude, you can choose which characters you want with you, each having their own set of abilities. And battle tactics.
Definitely want to design your team around your weaknesses.
One of the characters, Ashley, has the highest combat power because she has no biotic or any secondary trait.
Yep.
Another character has I think it's Liara, has pure biotics.
Yep.
So she's her biotics are the strongest, and so you can choose your team to kind of fit where you want it to be. And then on top of that, Cam said, you can choose how you want your Shepherd to be. And since I went with a tech biotic mix, I'm kind of and then had Rex and Garrus, I was basically peak on middle ground with my characters.
So you definitely want to design your team around what your abilities are. The game, I think, is easiest if you pick the soldier background for Shepard, and then for tech abilities and biotic abilities, you rely on your team members. But if you want to be more of a biotic user yourself, it's a little bit harder, and the gameplay is a lot slower because you have to wait for your cooldowns for your abilities.
There are abilities that let you cool down immediately.
But then that ability itself has a cooldown.
Yeah, but it makes it so you can use your abilities like twice in a row if you really need to.
And then you'd have to rely on more of your teammates, your squad that you take with you to provide the actual firepower and guns and stuff like that. And so you have Rex, Garrus,
Caden,
Tyla, Caden, Ashley, just the 5 different people you could choose from. I feel like I'm missing one.
Caden, Ashley, Liara, Rex, and Tali, and Garrus.
6.
Yep.
And so each of them have their own things that they specialize in, and you can really change the game, the combat around who you bring with you.
Nice. That's I kind of wish I would.
They all level up individually too.
I kind of wish I would have had time to play this along with you guys. 'Cause I'm gonna eventually.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's like not even the best one according to everybody. So.
Yeah, apparently it's the second one. So
yeah, it's really great though. A lot of customization, which is always what I love in games. Gameplay is like incredibly unique.
And then again, you can every single. Another part of the gameplay is, yes, you become a Spectre, and now you have access to Spectre weapons. But Spectre weapons themselves won't become available to you until you get the Rich achievement, which you need 1 million credits to get that achievement. And once you have that, you can now purchase Spectre weapons from your Spectre outlet.
I never spent a dime till that point.
But until then, you can go around every planet. So there's tons of different planets you can just randomly go down to and explore. If you do some side quests, you can go find out where people are missing. Or if you go orbit around a planet, you hear emergency beacon on it, and you go down to investigate.
Yeah, you can go like survey planets.
The
and
loot
stuff.
system in this game is great. You're often going to find weapons that are better than the ones you have. But as you go around actual populated planets, you can go to vendors, and the most important thing to buy from vendors are not their wares, but just the license, because every license that you purchase will increase the inventory back at your ship of what that guy at your ship can sell you.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, so you just look out for licenses because there are going to be some other rare weapons you can have. But then as you go later in the game and you get that Rich achievement, you can now unlock level 7 weapons and armor for the Spectre stuff. I had this armor that I got that it was insane. It had like 3 spots for shields. Like it had 3 shields, and then I think it had either 2 or 3 modify spots that I could put into it, which I put extra shield capacity in. So I had like 7 shield spots before I even took health damage.
Yeah.
It was insane.
It's pretty great.
And then since you can pick which weapons you want to be proficient in, you don't need to keep upping all of your weapons to the best ones. Oftentimes, if I found a really good assault rifle, I would give it to Garrus because he'd get more use out of it than I would because he's better with assault rifles than me. And then shotguns, it was a battle between me and Rex for shotguns. I always ended up giving him the better one because the pistol technically was still my main weapon and shotgun was my backup. But then once you start getting to Spectre level weapons, you have to go check back at the Spectre outlet. It's random, which if they will show you a Spectre item or not, and then they're always so fucking expensive. Yeah, so you always have to. I mean, as you're playing the game and you take someone who can hack with you. Garrus is my hacker. You can get into chests and stuff and just get tons of loot that you go sell. You never want to turn stuff into fucking Omnigel unless you're out, but you won't need any later in the game.
Yeah, every time you open a chest,
but you just go fucking sell the shit out of all the stuff you don't use. Make sure you gear up some of your other party members because you might need them for something or other that only they can do. But then just go sell the shit out of it. Sooner or later, near the end part of the game, you should have made enough money in order to get level 7. I also saw that if you go play through again, it unlocks level 10 items for you.
Nice. So there's a lot of replay value, it sounds, with gameplay.
Yeah, there's a ton dialogue options that you can choose. There's New Game Plus, so you can keep all your shit and your levels. So you can go around and if you did like a Max Paragon route, then you can like now go and do some Renegade stuff. Try and do that playthrough style. Have different teammates with you the whole time. Just a shitload of replayability.
Yeah, one thing is the gameplay is deep. It's very dynamic. You can change it around as you see fit. It often will make you need to change up the way you're playing just in order to be more effective at certain parts, especially with the ammunition you're using. All in all, some frustrations with Shepard and his cover dynamic. Like, he just wants to fucking glue his ass to cover, and I'm like, that's great and all, but you're on the wrong fucking side and they're still shooting at you.
Oh, just wait. You'll have that in Uncharted as well.
It's nowhere near as bad.
If you're playing on crazy ass difficulty,
And then
He's not going to playing it on fucking crushing.
I kind of like the way they did the accuracy, especially as you went later, through the game.
It
later.
is kind of the
it was
best
super
way,
annoying to start
especially
out.
with an RPG.
Yeah,
It makes it so you basically have to fire guns in a different way than you normally would. Like with an assault rifle, you can't just like hold down on it to keep it rapid fire. You have to burst shot that thing because like the reticle will get fucking massive and you'll be inaccurate as fuck. And then sniping is obviously terrible, so you have to like either focus on using a pistol or like an assault rifle with burst, or just using shotgun the whole time. Like it kind of changes the way that you have to play.
yeah,
right?
I think I'm gonna give gameplay an 8 out of 10. It's deep, it's fun, a little slow sometimes because you can't really run anywhere. I feel like the melee stuff, I know you can, get mods and stuff to make your melee better, but you melee with the same button that you shoot with, and that only happens when you're right up next to someone, so it's really weird to be shooting at a Krogan charging at you and wanting to knock him down with, some hammerhead rounds, but you end up just smacking him instead because he's too close to shoot at for some reason.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really like the melee function in that game, especially since like one of your assault training bonus when you play as the soldier is like it gives you like bonus melee damage. It's like, I'm not gonna fucking try to melee anyone.
Yeah, it's only if they for some reason get super close, and
even then you should just
I'd
be
rather
shooting them still.
them.
Yeah.
So so 8 out of 10 for me.
All right.
I think I'll give it an 8 too.
Okay, 8s across the board for gameplay. So, sound and music. What do you guys think of the soundtrack? How's the voice acting? In-game sounds, so on and so forth.
The music was all right. I wouldn't say it was spectacular. It definitely served the.
They definitely tried to make it more
the gameplay.
It's like,
synth, very heavy synth, and kind of a futuristic type.
Yeah, they tried to make it like that. And then there's like a few moments where, like in the trailer, it gets like really fucking big, and but that's reserved for like the big moments.
Yeah.
Every other time, it's more like just snippets of like remixed stuff randomly.
I don't really feel like I ever felt like, wow, this soundtrack's amazing, and just
it's more for ambiance than anything else.
Voice acting though, oh man, it's good.
It's really good in this game. Like even the characters you find annoying are really good. So the voice acting is fantastic in this game. I'd probably
the sounds of the weapons all right, nothing too special.
They sound like lasers. Oh my god, dude, the fucking overheat sound is the no shield sound in Halo.
It's similar, very similar.
It's the same.
Let's see if we can find a sound side-by-side comparison. If you want to open up YouTube, go Halo 1 shield sound.
No shield sound.
Yeah, no shield. Yeah, Halo 1 shield sound.
Dude, it's so fucking. The first thing I thought of, I was like, "What do I have no shield?"
It's probably a little bit hard to just pull that sound bite out.
Let's see.
It's probably just them fighting with no shield.
Oh my god!
Yeah, that's not what we're looking for. God damn.
Oh,
that was loud.
I apologize.
That was a montage.
No, but it's not. I think it's similar. I don't know if it's exactly the same, but
Yeah, they can look it up later.
yeah,
if
look it up
necessary.
later. This is not important.
Maybe it's the respawn sound.
No, it's not the respawn.
It's totally the no shield sound. But anyway, yeah.
Oh yeah, that's dumb.
Yeah,
Why would you want that? That's just boops.
I mean they're all boops in their own right.
Boops and bleeps.
So trying to think, voice acting, it's great. Really have served the storytelling. Aliens sound like aliens. Each race of different aliens have their own kind of way they talk. I really love the Elcor.
The elephant dudes.
Yeah, the guys who have to, since
Yeah.
they don't have a way to express emotion and how they talk.
Yeah,
I mean,
so
they all sound like Eeyore. They just all sound like they're sad.
Yeah.
But then they have to preface every sentence with the way
Yeah,
they want you to take it.
Yeah, they like tell you like they'll be like elation. This is good.
Oh yeah, those guys.
Reserved. But then, man, it'd be funny to try to get one of those guys who wanted to, to trick you or to con you. It's like deceptively.
Yeah. And then there's the koi pod or whatever that was on Novaria. Did you talk to you or did you talk to him?
Koi pod?
He's like the little psychic floating squid.
Oh
thing.
yeah. The Hanar, right? Are they the Hanar?
No, I don't think so. I think it was called a koi pod, or I can't remember exactly what it was. But they have like weird,
Yeah, they're the
echoey
Hanar.
kind of psychic voices. Oh, okay. Is that
They're,
what they're?
the whole race is called the Hanar.
Maybe
yeah.
maybe that was his name or something. I don't remember.
Yeah, their voice effect was kind of cool. Kind of delayed psychic sound for their voice.
Yeah.
But just like brains with floating tentacles. This is what they look
Essentially.
like. I mean, you probably saw them, but yeah.
I think there's only
Yeah.
like one.
No, there's one. I think there's a couple inside the Citadel, but there's also
Yeah,
one on
probably
the science
is,
planet
yeah.
who tries to get you to smuggle stuff in.
Yeah. Yeah, there's that guy. That's
Yeah.
the only one I remember.
Um,
But yeah, sound, I'd probably give it an 8.
Right.
Just because, like, I enjoyed the music, but it was, I don't know.
it was weird, especially when you're on. Oh man, I forgot to fucking rail the game for poor Mako controls.
well,
So bad.
yeah.
So there's a vehicle in the game called the Mako. It's the lunar rover type vehicle that has a cannon and a machine gun on it. That's super effective at any military operation. But for some fucking reason,
It has
they
the
decided
sharpest controls for turning
No,
in the world.
terrible controls for turning. Because for some reason, they decided if you turn the steering wheel either to the right or the left, that it's automatically going to go forward at the same time. So you can't just turn separately of pressing forward or backwards. If you just press a turn to the right or the left, it will move forward and move that vehicle to the right or left without pressing the forward key at all, without going forward.
Oh wow.
And so now if you wanted to add gas to that turn, you now have double the power of going into that one direction they were going. And so you often overshoot and overcorrect to that direction. And now if you wanted to back up and you forget that pressing either to right or left before you start backing up is going to move you forward and not backward, you have to first go backward and then turn the direction you wanted to back up in. And that's why the controls for that fucking machine are terrible.
The controls are terrible, and then the aiming for it is terrible too. Because,
Oh, yeah,
being able to
sometimes-
shoot the rocket, like it has a very limited range of where you can shoot
And
it.
sometimes your fucking aim gets fucked up. So without zooming in, so this machine Mako will allow you to zoom in a good amount to basically snipe with that machine gun or rocket.
Yeah.
But sometimes there'll be someone right next to you trying to shoot, but you're shooting way the fuck over their head for some reason. Your reticle's right on them.
It's because like the fucking cannon can only go down.
No,
so
it's not
much,
even that. It's not even
apparently.
that. You're shooting right at them, but it's going over the head. But when you zoom in to shoot them, then now you can shoot them. Now you're aiming down low enough to shoot them.
Yeah.
So that's a bug.
It's like
for sure.
there's a fucking little tube that like the cannon has and like comes out and only comes out when you're fucking aimed in.
I know. I think it's some sort of a bug. Like it doesn't do it all the time, but but it happens in extended fights where all of a sudden you can't aim at anything anymore because it thinks you're aiming like a lot higher than you are.
You can shoot the mini, like the machine gun part of it, but like the fucking cannon.
No,
like,
I'll have to show you some of. I'll have to. If the Twitch hasn't deleted them yet.
Did you get the anti-Shepard this playthrough where it's like the blacked out
redacted Shepard?
So
yes.
I know why that happens. So this is a known bug that I was able to look into and find out what's causing it. Basically, it has to do with AMD chips in particular. This does not happen on Intel computers. So back in the day, there was a certain 3D something or other that AMD chips used to have, and the developers for Mass Effect decided to use that particular feature in some way of lighting their game and in some way of designing how light affects with 3D models and stuff like that. But that particular piece of software or of architecture does not exist in modern AMD chips. And so the effect is in certain levels that use that very particular, piece of code that they wrote will just black out Shepard, his allies, and enemy models too. For me, I had a complete redact. Everything was redacted. It was all gone. Only the terrain.
That happened to me this time, but my first playthrough when this like thing happened was when I was trying to restart the computer. Remember, we have to go down that little elevator thing.
Yeah.
That's when it happened. Like as soon as I hit the bottom floor,
for me it was
only Shepard. Like my guns were fine. Only Shepard himself. None of my other characters or anything were redacted. Only
for me it was when I approached the actual outside of that facility, that peak facility. That's what happened to me before.
That's when it happened this time. And then when I encountered a bunch of the Rachni, and then had this one cutscene, and it automatically fixed itself, and I was
playing through it. There's no playing through it. It's you can't aim at stuff that are blacked out. You can't see your character. You can't see anything.
It's awful. The only reason you can tell some dudes are enemies is because they're moving.
How the fuck do you get past it?
So there is a way to do it. So I did a deep dive online and found out you can turn off that particular piece of code by enabling the console and just telling it to turn off the lit mode. So then what it does is it gets rid of that bug of redacting Shepard, but then the lighting is much brighter, so you don't get the ambient lighting.
Yeah.
So that's so ridiculous. It makes it unplayable. Like, if it was playable, I would just be like, yeah, fuck it, I'll just shoot black.
I mean, it is playable because I did it.
It's
I'll
not
just
playable.
shoot black blobs as my black blobs.
Well, if it's big and it's moving, then it's an enemy.
I can go back and just take a video of it. It's horrible. I thought something was fucked. I panicked for a second because I didn't remember.
It's pretty bad
because it was funny because I would walk up, go through the door, and immediately everyone went just blacked out.
Yeah.
Just like the fuck. I went outside. I was still black. I'm like, what's going on? I go back in the Mako and hop back out. Everyone's fine. Then I step through the door again, and it's not fine anymore. I stop and save the game, reloaded it. I'm like, the fuck is going on? And I do a deep dive, and I found
your
it
computer was frying or something bad.
No, or just something was corrupted in the game is what I thought.
You're just not going to want to start it over again.
Yeah, exactly, because I was doing that mission. He did that part first. I did that last.
Oh, shit.
And so I had so much game already beaten before that point.
Yeah, and then the first time I played through that game, it just stayed with me the entire game. But this time, it fixed itself. When I got to a certain point.
Anyways, as far as sound goes, did we already rate sound? Are we still thinking about it?
I rated it. You haven't yet.
7. I think it was 7.
All right. 7 for Cameron, 8 for Craig. Design and graphics. How's the game look? We just kind of dug into that a little bit. What do you think of the design? I mean, do you like the maps? Does each world have its own distinct feel? Does it make sense?
Don't. So the design, I feel like this might just be more of the limitations of the time, but this does allow you to do some open world stuff and go to other planets that are not necessarily part of your main mission or a mission in itself. And it lets you rove around a very small area of the planet, and it has just a very empty feel to it. It's empty. There's nothing really there to look at besides a few points of interest to gather for materials, resources, or tech and stuff. And then there's the main feature on that little planet that you're allowed to go do. Either it's a base of pirates or something or another.
Is it always the same area that it brings you to?
No, it's
okay.
randomly kind of generates I don't know if it randomly generates the terrain, but each different planet you can do this on is different. But I feel it's just very boring,
Very basic.
empty, very basic.
Yeah.
And it just leaves you alone with that fucking stupid Mako.
Yeah.
What if is it better at that point if you black out Shepard? Like, does that make it better?
No, it'd make it worse because
No.
you can tell what you're looking at.
Everything's just fucking psychedelic.
It's not psychic. It's just wrong.
Yeah, if you do extra missions, it kind of
But all
you
the
kind
main
of
stuff,
repeat a lot of stuff. But yeah, like the main stuff is awesome. Like
all
every,
of the main
every,
maps and stuff. So
every
I know they
planet
have the
and things
actually.
that you go to. Is
I
pretty
know they
unique.
have the processing power to make awesome off main quest worlds. They have the technology. They just didn't use it.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have to say that might be a tad
it's
lazy.
one of the best looking games, especially of that year.
Yeah.
The only thing is, like, yeah, some of the repeated stuff that they do in the like.
I
optional
had the
planets and
graphics turned up
missions and stuff.
all the way I could. It wasn't really optimized very well, and so I was lucky to keep it around 60 frames. Turned off a few things, but graphics wise, it was good. It was okay.
It's not a horrible looking game.
It was definitely a 720 game, right? 720p.
Yeah, 360.
Yes.
Yeah.
It wasn't bad. Wasn't phenomenal either. I'm going to give it a 7, and mostly because I know they could do better with the design of side quest planets.
All right, Craig. What you got? What you got, bro?
I'll give it an 8. There is some repetition. Of course, there's that fucking redacted Shepard thing, which always makes me laugh, but that was mostly on PC.
That was so bad, but it's not their fault. I mean, it kind of is their fault,
Anti-Shep.
but it's not their fault.
Yeah.
what it is.
But everything, like, main mission-wise, like, if you just play through the story itself, everything looks fucking great. The planets are awesome and unique looking. Aliens are really cool designs.
You mean main quest planets are
design-wise.
awesome and unique.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Side quest stuff, there is quite a bit of repetition. But yeah, that's it. It's pretty good overall.
Yep.
Not many games of that year can really beat it out. So
Yeah.
All right, so replayability. How interested are you guys in playing the sequel due to this game? I mean, what value does the replayability have for
I'm
this
already
game
playing
itself?
the sequel, so 100% there. If I would say there is a lot of replay value, especially since on your second playthrough, there's so many different classes and so many different Shepard versions that you get to play. I went through Soldier first time, so maybe next time I want to do just maybe more biotic stuff, or I want to do more kind of like infiltrator tech / silent stuff.
BioShep.
Is Godzilla.
Yeah.
And then there, a level of weapons that you couldn't use the first playthrough that you can on your second playthrough. Different dialogue options and a different way to complete the game at the end.
Oh, dude, yeah. There's apparently there's if you have like Max Paragon, you can convince Saren to kill himself.
Can you?
Yeah.
Fuck.
Is that the last
Brutal.
boss?
You should commit suicide.
He's the second to last boss. Technically, his corpse is the last boss.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so you could convince him to kill himself, but then you still have to fight him.
Why did you come back to life? He's like, oh, my God. Good idea. And he
Well,
dies again.
actually, it's Sovereign controls his body, so you'd have to convince Sovereign to commit suicide.
You can't commit sovereign. No. It's the first part. It's the first part where you fight Saren and you kill him and he lands and he dies, right?
Yeah.
But then the second part will still happen if you convince him to kill himself.
Yeah.
So you have to fight Sovereign.
Yeah, you still have to fight
You
Sovereign.
don't convince Sovereign to kill himself. You convince Saren.
Oh, well, I said that you'd have to convince
Oh,
Sovereign
yeah.
to kill himself so that he doesn't control Saren's body.
Okay.
But that would be awesome if you could.
Replay value, I think it's at least a 9. Well, probably. I'm giving it a 10. It's gonna be
Yeah,
a 10.
I would give it a 10 as well. There's a lot of this game that there's like a shitload of side quests you can do. A lot of just in-depth stuff with some of the characters. There's a shitload of dialogue options that you can try out.
Every character you can have a part of your team, they have little side missions you can do for them.
Yeah.
Does Lyra have a side mission and Dahlia, or is it just Garrison Rex?
I think they do, but I didn't do them.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can. There's like a shitload of stuff you can do. There's like, if you didn't get like a Paragon option that you wanted this time around, you can New Game Plus it with your Paragon points and then try it out, or like at least have it easier to get Paragon points. Because you can like on Novaria, you can convince this one guy to like. What was it? Testify against this other guy. You can like convince a bunch of other people to do stuff. At the end of the game, you could convince Saren to kill himself. You need Paragon points to convince Rex to stay with you when the genophage cure is found. Just stuff like that, like, and then going renegade option, being like a total asshole every time. The one interview with the one chick, you could just be like a total dick to her the entire time.
Tons of stuff you can do at the Citadel as far as like subterfuge and investigating goes.
Yeah.
So there's a lot there that I didn't do. I did a lot in the Citadel, but there's a lot more still.
Yeah, there's
to
a
do.
lot of like other random missions in there on the Citadel. Like there's like. Some dude's wife's body is like they're keeping it because the Geth's
and that has an effect in the next Mass Effect.
Yeah, and so like you have to like help him get his wife's body back, or you can just be like, no, fuck you. Just shit like that. There's like a lot of random interesting things that have to do with the lore and will randomly affect the next game. So there's a lot of replayability in the core game of Mass Effect that will affect your other games. So there's a lot of replay value there.
Yep. So any last parting words?
Mass Effect is a great game, and it's worth at least a playthrough.
I immensely enjoyed it. I powered through this. I look forward to playing it after work and going through it. So definitely a very fun game to pick up if you haven't before. We're very late to playing it and reviewing it, but I'm glad we finally did.
All right, so recapping the scores: story 9s across the board, gameplay 8s across the board, sound and music 7 from Cam, 8 from Craig, design and graphics 7 from Cam, 8 from Craig, replayability 10 across the board. It's a total of 41 out of 50 from Cameron and 43 out of 50 for Craig and 84 out of 100 for the overall score. And the Metacritic score varies a little bit based on where you played it. 89 out of 100 for PC, 85 out of 100 for PS3, 91 out of 100 for Xbox 360. Lowballing it except for the PS3 1 point off. Right around, I guess, pretty close.
Yep.
Everyone's really enjoyed this game. It sold well over 1 million copies, spawned 3 consecutive sequels-ish.
And the spin-off.
Yeah, well, 2 sequels and a spin-off, I guess. Kind of a big deal. I'm excited to get to Mass Effect 2, I guess, if we ever play it and review it. That would be a good idea. So, yeah, there we are, guys. That is our review of Mass Effect. So, it's cool. Yeah. I guess the next thing we have, like we said before, Caleb, Craig, and I are going to be playing 50 Cent Bulletproof. So 2 weeks from
Blood
now...
on the Sand, you mean?
Oh, yeah, Blood on the Sand. 2 weeks from now, we should have Cameron and I's review of Uncharted Drake's Fortune. 2 weeks after that, we'll have a secret hidden review as well. And then 2 weeks after that, Blood on the Sand. Blood on the Sand. So next week we'll have another vote. So guys, thank you so much for listening to Nude Clan. Let's do some Hog League, which I actually have prepared and ready to roll. So the Hog League champions, the champions of the world, everyone knew it was going to happen. They were undefeated in the regular season, and they remained so in the playoffs, obviously, or they'd get their asses eliminated. But Tunica's Heroes over the last fucking crazy amount of time that I didn't count any points because I was making up for my fuck up, they scored a total of 6,474, and Thy Death Squad, a great effort at 4,975. Matunica's Heroes also scored more this week than Death Squad did. Great work on the league, guys. You guys both killed it. I knew it was going to basically come down to these two, and there were weeks. I think there was only 1 week, actually, in the whole league where Death Squad actually scored more points than Matunica's Heroes, and they weren't playing each other. So it was like, fuck. That would have been awesome to just like, oh, huge upset. But this is how it was pretty much winding down to be these two teams, and very exciting. So, guys, this is the end of the season. I'm going to do an off-season week or so, and then we're going to start doing the draft, and that will be between team captains. So basically, you just want to draft the best people to your team outside of the team captains, and we'll go worst team to best team as far as like drafting your picks. So the guys who lost the most will be the first draft pick, and then so on and so forth. And we'll just run through the draft that way. So I made a Twitter with all of the team captains. I think we should do it that way unless we want to do Discord, but I'll ask you guys on the Twitter page or the little Twitter message that we have going what way would be best for everyone, and then we'll work it out and we'll get the draft going. But we're going to do that in the off weeks. So everyone that hasn't submitted Hog, just get caught up on it. Get your stuff in there. I know you two are behind because I see all. I'm the all-seeing eye of Hog. So get caught up on that so we can start off the next season nice and refreshed and ready to roll. Thank you guys so much for everyone who played it. It was a lot of fun, lots of fun competition. I enjoy seeing Matunica bring all of these people in and like really get them into the Hog and grow the team. I'm excited to like throw all that away and give all those people to other people and have them
so
do it.
So we can't constantly communicate and get on their asses.
Yeah, and have them do it all over again. So Matunica will be our hero, and he will bully you into hogging your shit until you do it. So I'm excited to see how Season 2 goes. Thank you guys for hanging out for this episode. If you want to support the show, we have Patreon, patreon.com/NudeClan podcast. We're going to start streaming a lot on Twitch, twitch.tv/NudeClan Gaming. You can go there. You can give us your Amazon Prime subs. It gives us, it's a free sub with your Amazon Prime subscription. Give it to somebody. Even if you don't like us enough to give it to us, give it to somebody on there, please. It doesn't cost you a thing. We have a sweet cubby emote if you do, in fact, sub to us, and I love spamming that motherfucker on our channel and other channels as well, so it's a lot of fun. You can support us directly through Patreon. We got our page up there. We've got a PayPal link if you want to support us directly. If you don't want to do a monthly sub or whatever, that's fine too. That's on the website, which is, of course, as you guys all know, audibletrial.com/NudeClan, where you can support us through Audible, which is a great service, amazing service.
How much listening time are you up to, Craig?
Oh, God. We got to do this now.
Yeah.
I still think in New Jersey, every train should just be like, this is Audible. And then start off with like a high production like voiceover. It's like fucking, I don't know, someone big, James Earl Jones comes on and is like, please step away from the doors.
Dude, they took away the buying credits for like 2 days or some shit. I don't know exactly how long it was, and I was like freaking out, and then it's back now, so it's fine.
Buying extra credits?
Yeah.
Craig is just like, no, dude, take my money.
I fucking need it.
Yeah, I bought credits too, and then I just stopped listening to Audible. I got out of Audible for like a week. It's so dumb.
Okay, I have 2 months, 12 days, 14 hours, and 21 minutes.
2 months, 7 days, 23 hours, 52 minutes.
Cameron, you got to try harder to keep up.
I've increased my listening by a fuck ton recently.
I have 123 books.
Oh my God.
How many hours did you listen to in July? I'm just below
in July
93 hours.
July, I was at 126.
You can't stop it, Cameron, unless you're willing to just listen at work.
I can't listen at work.
Then there's no
my average
contest.
My average is like 166.
Unless you move back down here, the closet's open. If you move back down here, you got that commute time. You think about it, you can catch up to Craig much easier with the commute. What are you willing to give up to catch up? He just quits and starts working at Liberty Safe.
It's the only way.
He starts working there, and he gets another job with me. So he's like, yes, I could do 16 hours of Audible a day. Keep up to that, you fuck. I'll do 0.25 speed because it still counts the hours listened. I'll get every ounce out of each of these titles. I think so, yeah. Because I do 1.25, and it doesn't increase the time, like...
Is it only by, like, when it's finished?
It does it by, like, how long you're actually listening. Or no. Yeah, how long you're actually listening. So if you do 1.5 speed, you're actually shortchanging yourself on your cock length of your overall time listened because you're going through the book faster, and it only does real time. Or else there would be days where I would have, like, 11 and a half hours of listening, and I only worked for, like, 9 hours because I got 1.25 to 1.5, depending on the narrator. Honestly, I kind of like the narrators that go a little faster more.
I need them to have more ranks in the listening level.
Yeah.
I've been a master since the dawn of time on this app.
Yeah, I feel like they got to up their achievements, too. Like, some of them are kind of lame.
The badges.
Yeah. Needs to be more.
There needs to be some secret rank that you get and get invited to an event.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like the Uber mention rank. You get invited to an Audible. They fly you into Jersey.
Oh, man, they updated it so there's, like, you can see, like, the stats of how much, like, there's, like, a little bar next to your thing now.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
There's only 2 badges I don't have. That's the social butterfly, which requires you to tweet out your books or message your books out as you finish them. And then there's the dabbler, which requires you to have a huge library you haven't listened to.
Buy more.
They don't have the little sash on the books anymore that tells you it's finished.
No, it just marks it as finished.
That's dumb. I needed to have the sash.
Yeah, just finished. No more sash.
Yeah, so we're big fans of Audible. You guys should try it out. If you have a long, droning job or a commute, it's a great way to pass the time. Get your mind working again. Start thinking about things. Consume some books. audibletrial.com/NudeClan. I think that's going to be it. Guys, follow us on Twitter. Follow the show at NudeClan Podcast. You can follow us individually. You can follow me at UFF Podcast.
Me at Obsidian Bar.
Me at NudeClan Cam.
And you can find all of our stuff there. That's where all the polls are. That's where all the fun is. So go there. Hang out with us there. We have a Discord channel. I'm going to pin the Discord channel, a permanent invite link to the Nude Clan Podcast Twitter, so you can go there to follow that. Join the conversation in that room. You can add us on PSN, all those places. Join the chat room there. Lots of places to get a hold of us. 385-204-3921. That's where you can leave questions for After Dark. We're running out of those questions, so please give us a call. Give us your questions, and we'll talk your ear off. I think that's going to be it for this episode, guys. Until next time, as always,
enjoy the nude.
Time to get good.
Live always in the nude. Nude.
Yeah!